The Ghost of Union Square by Fawlkirk Wheeler. Chapter 1. A Body in the Green Hollow. On the morning councillor Douglas Fraser's body was found in Union Terrace Gardens, Aberdeen, woke up to horror and headlines. The mist clung low between the granite walls. A white breath pooled in the hollow where the gardens dropped away from Union Street. Traffic hummed overhead on the bridge, tires whispering over wet tarmac, while down below a police cordon glowed blue in the fog. Erin MacLeod stood at the railings, fingers curled around cold metal, watching uniforms move like ghosts among the trees. "Of all the places to die, you picked the one everyone's arguing about," she murmured. Her recorder was already in her pocket, phone in her other hand, eyes scanning for angles. Banners from last week's protest still zip-tied to the railings, damp and sagging. "Save our gardens, no to glass and steel." A paper placard, half-torn, flapped in the breeze, the words smudged. Somewhere beyond the police tape, beneath the arch of the bridge, lay the man who'd insisted the redevelopment was non-negotiable. Douglas Fraser, councillor, darling of the business pages, villain of local Facebook groups. First questions: was it political? Was it personal? Or was Aberdeen about to hand her a story that was both? A uniformed constable trudged up the steps from the lower path, exhaling steam into the cold air. Erin recognized him, PC McLean, the one who'd once tried to move her on from filming drunk students outside Underground. "Morning, Constable. Busy?"
"We're a bit occupied, Ms. MacLeod." He glanced pointedly at the phone in her hand. "You'll need to stand back from the railings. Scene's still being secured."
"I am back from the railings. Look." She lifted her hands, palms up. "No crime scene contamination. Just an upstanding member of the press, here to support our fine police force." He didn't smile. They rarely did first thing in the morning with a body on the grass.
"All I can say is there's been a death. You'll get a press briefing when we do."
"Is it Councillor Fraser?" The tiny flinch in his jaw was all the confirmation she needed. "Right. Any sign of foul play?"
"I didn't say it was him, Miss MacLeod."
"No, but your face did. You might want to work on that before the cameras get here." He walked off, muttering something about reporters. Erin let him go. She already had what she wanted for the opening line. Aberdeen councillor Douglas Fraser was found dead in Union Terrace Gardens just after dawn this morning. She could almost hear the podcast intro music under her words, the soft pulse she used for urban mysteries. The series had started as a side project. Forgotten buildings, closed stations, lost rivers under the streets. It had grown into something with sponsors and download stats. People liked being told their city had secrets. Now, someone had died in the middle of one of those secrets. A gust of wind pushed the mist sideways. Through the gap, she saw the forensic tent down below. White, hunched, flanked by bright jackets. Beyond it, the gentle slope of the gardens, trees bare and black against the fog. And further still, barely visible, the railings along Rosemount Viaduct and the top of His Majesty's Theatre. Aberdeen's granite canyon, with a dead man at the bottom. Her phone buzzed. A message from her editor at the Evening Chronicle. Fraser confirmed. Possible heart attack? Get color from scene, quotes from protesters. Don't say murder, unless police do. Heart attack, convenient. Fraser was in his 50s, broad-shouldered, the sort of man who liked to be photographed in high-vis vests and hard hats, shoveling ceremonial piles of dirt, fit enough as far as she knew. He also had a long list of enemies, all of them currently in the process of organizing petitions, protests, and cutting memes. "Right," she muttered. "Time to talk to the neighbors." She left the railings, walking along Union Terrace towards the curved steps that led down into the gardens. 2 more officers blocked the way. "Ms. MacLeod, I was wondering when you'd appear." D.I. Callum Reed was taller than she remembered from their last dance around a crime scene. Dark hair, a touch too long at the back, trench coat that had seen off more than one Aberdonian winter. He had the look of a man who'd transferred from somewhere bigger and still wasn't entirely sure about local press. "Inspector, I bring only curiosity and an audio recorder. Sadly, neither are admissible in court. You can't go down. Not yet. Off the record, then. Is it Fraser? And is he dead? Yes, and yes. He hesitated. Until we get the postmortem, the cause is unknown. That's all you're getting. ... Any truth in the rumor he was here meeting someone? Protester? Developer? Lobbyist? Where did you hear that? Oh, you know, the birds, the wind, Facebook comments under last night's council live stream. A muscle jumped in his cheek. There was something there then. Some sign Fraser's presence in the gardens at dawn wasn't entirely innocent. We're looking at all possibilities, including the possibility he was simply walking through. In a suit? At 5 a.m? Through a park he's trying to pave over? Reed didn't answer. He didn't have to. Silence was its own kind of confirmation. The shout floated up from below. Voices, the metallic clink of equipment. Then another sound, faint but distinct, carried in a lull between passing buses. A dull, hollow thump, like something heavy striking concrete. Under the grass, Erin frowned, leaning over the rail just enough to see the path. One of the scene of crime officers had stopped near a patch of earth where the grass seemed lumped and uneven. He was tapping his boot experimentally. Tell me you heard that. It's probably an old drain. Half the city's built on forgotten tunnels. Exactly, she said. Forgotten tunnels make great stories. He shot her a look that said he regretted the words the moment they left his mouth. Don't start, MacLeod. No ghosts, no conspiracies. Not yet. You said not yet. I'm taking that as permission for later. She pressed her phone to her chest for a moment, feeling her heart beat against it. Beneath the mist and the neat council lawns, something had made that hollow sound, a hidden space, a gap where the ground should be solid. And a man who'd based his career on concrete and certainty was lying dead only a few meters away. If Aberdeen believed in ghosts, this was where they'd live. By mid-morning, the word murder would start trickling through the city, passed from mouth to mouth in cafes and offices and WhatsApp groups. But standing at the edge of the gardens, staring down into the white breath of the hollow, Erin felt another word take root. Haunted, she whispered. The mist swirled, and somewhere down among the trees, something thumped once more beneath the ground. Chapter 2. The Man Who Saw the Ghost. The hearth thickened as Erin left the upper railings and walked the long curve of Union Terrace towards the Rosemount end of the gardens. Morning traffic was beginning its daily thrum, buses grumbling past, tires slicing through wet streets. The city was waking, but the hollow below remained muted, like a breath held. Erin had one rule when chasing a story: talk to the people who saw things the police found inconvenient. And right now, that meant Thomas. If anyone saw the so-called ghost, it was him. She crossed the road, cutting behind His Majesty's Theatre and into a quiet service alley where bins stood like hunched giants. The smell of damp cardboard and recycled ale clung to the stones. Ahead, sheltered by the overhang of the theater's side entrance, sat a sleeping bag the color of old moss. Thomas Nowak was already awake. He was sitting upright, legs crossed, a flask cupped in both hands. His face was lined in that way city living carved into a person, half hardship, half stubborn survival. His eyes, pale and sharp, flicked up as Erin approached. Morning, Tamaz. Tea? Coffee, he corrected softly, accent thick but words clear. Everything is better with coffee. She handed him a steaming cup from the takeaway stall on Union Street. He sniffed it with suspicion, then accepted. I hear you were in the gardens last night. He paused, took a sip, blinked as if replaying something unpleasant. I was there. I told the police already. They don't listen. I will. There was someone. Not a person. Not exactly. He glanced toward the gardens, as if the mist itself might be listening. I saw a figure walking among the trees, tall, no face. It glowed, just a little, like moonlight on a knife. It moved too smooth, not like a drunk, not like a normal person. A reflection? A torch? A jacket with strips on it? No, this thing, it came up from the ground. Erin felt the chill before the words landed. The ground? I sleep near the gardens sometimes. I know the noises. Rats, pipes, leaves. But last night, something else. The earth moved. Then the figure climbed out from behind the north path. I hid behind the hedge near the benches. It didn't see me. He rubbed his fingers together nervously, the coffee warming them but not steadying them. There was someone else too, a man, suit. He was talking to someone I could not see. Then he shouted, loud, angry. A woman maybe? Hard to hear. Could you see his face? Yes, Councillor Fraser. There it was, the first eyewitness placing Fraser in the gardens before his death and speaking to someone. And the figure, did it approach him? It watched from the trees. Then the shouting stopped. Then nothing. When I looked again, the figure was gone. So a quarrel, a witness who wasn't believed, and someone moving through a space that shouldn't exist. Erin crouched down beside him, lowering her voice to match his. Tomasz, have you ever seen anyone use the old hatches in the gardens? The ones sealed off? Yes, a few times. Always late night. People who don't want to be seen, they go in fast. Do you know which hatch? The one near the lower path. The grass hides it. But last night, he hesitated. I think I heard it open. Erin's mind stitched pieces together. The hollow thump she'd heard earlier. The way the earth near the tent looked disturbed. Fraser possibly meeting someone in the dark. And Tomasz's sighting of a figure climbing out of the ground. There's a tunnel. Someone used it. And Fraser ended up dead. Movement at the end of the alley caught her eye. D.I. Reed, hands in his pockets, scanning the area the way detectives do when they're pretending they're not following a journalist. Speak of the devil. He stopped a few steps away, eyeing Tomasz with the guarded neutrality police adopt around rough sleepers. MacLeod, why am I not surprised to find you interrogating witnesses? Because I find them before you do. I tried to tell them. They told me to go away. Reed crouched, bringing himself level with Tomasz. Tell me what you saw, and start from the beginning. She listens. You don't. She'll share it with me anyway. Cut out the middle step. Tomasz relented, repeating his story, but slower, more hesitant. Reed listened without interrupting. His eyes narrowed only once at the mention of Fraser arguing with someone unseen. And you're certain the hatch opened? Yes, the ground breathed. Like this. For a moment, nobody spoke. The wind stirred a damp cardboard box. Somewhere inside the theater, a door slammed. Right, thank you. We'll check it out. You will forget. Police always forget men like me. No, not this time. As Reed walked off to make a phone call, Erin touched Tomasz's sleeve. You helped. Seriously. If you think of anything else, anything, find me. You believe me, I believe something happened down there. And someone wants it buried. She stepped back onto Rosemount Viaduct, the gardens hidden beneath the mist. Her phone buzzed with a message from her editor. Police press briefing at noon. They're saying nothing suspicious. Of course they are. A city official dead, a quarrel in the dock, a sealed hatch disturbed, a witness describing a figure emerging from underground, and now the police leaning toward nothing suspicious. She inhaled slowly, letting the cold air sharpen her thinking. They can call it nothing, but something in those tunnels killed a man, and whatever lingered beneath Union Terrace Gardens hadn't finished resurfacing. Chapter 3: The Hatch That Shouldn't Exist. By late morning, the har still clung to the hollow of Union Terrace Gardens, refusing to burn off. The rest of Aberdeen brightened in patches, sunlight touching rooftops, the glass of Marischal College glinting weakly, but the gardens remained a muted bowl of gray. Erin didn't wait for the police briefing. She had an hour before it began, and she intended to spend it underground, or at least at the door that led there. If Tomasz was right about the hatch, someone had been inside it recently. Someone Fraser met, someone who didn't want to be seen. She headed down the main steps into the gardens. The grass underfoot was slick, the curved paths shining from the mist. Police tape blocked the central route, but she wasn't interested in the body site today. She was heading for the lower path, where the ground had thumped like something wanting to breathe. 2 community officers stood guard, bored expressions tucked beneath regulation caps. Erin took the long way around, using the slope of the gardens and a screen of bare trees as cover. Mist was a journalist's best friend, and there it was. a rectangular patch of earth where the grass lay uneven, like a badly fitted rug. A subtle hump, a faint discoloration, a hatch trying to hide. Got you. She knelt, brushing mist-wet blades aside. No handle, but a faint metal line where the edges met. Soil disturbed at the corners. And there, clearer than anything else, a smear of dark streaking the edge. Mud? Oil? Something else from below? A shadow passed over her shoulder. I knew I'd find you here. Reed stood a few steps away, hands in his coat pockets, eyes narrowed. He wasn't angry. Worse, he looked resigned, as if nothing she did could surprise him anymore. Inspector, out for a stroll? Don't. This is an active crime scene. Crime scene? That's an upgrade from nothing suspicious. He walked forward, crouching beside her, close enough she could see the raindrops clinging to his hair. You didn't hear that from me. And's this hatch? Planning to comment on that? There are tunnels all over the city. Disused, sealed, old drainage systems, wartime structures, nothing new. He said nothing new, but his eyes stayed fixed on the disturbed earth longer than they should have. The ground's been moved. Look at the corner. Someone opened it. We noticed. There was more. She could hear it in the pause that followed, heavy as the mist. And? The hatch is bolted from the inside. Inside. So someone was down there, or still is. Erin felt a prickling at the back of her neck. The fog swirled around them like a veil. For a moment, even the sounds of the city seemed muffled. You have a theory. I have half a theory, and half a dozen reasons not to share it. I only need one reason to share it. Reed stood, brushing mist from his coat. You're not going down there, MacLeod. Not today, not alone, not ever without clearance. I wasn't planning to go alone. She let the ambiguity hang. Stay away from this hatch, and don't go dragging that council groundsman into it either. Jamie. The inspector had just confirmed Jamie Boyd was not only on his radar, but relevant. I hadn't mentioned Jamie. Just don't. He didn't look back. Erin waited until he was far enough away, then knelt again. She ran a fingertip along the metal seam of the hatch. Cold, damp, but not rusted. Maintained. Recently. Someone uses this regularly. Someone Fraser met last night. Someone he argued with. A faint draft breathed upward from beneath the grass, cooler than the air above. She leaned closer. There, a smell. Damp stone, old concrete, and something like chemical dust, the scent of sealed places. What's down there? Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She answered. Miss MacLeod, it's Jamie, from the gardens. Jamie? What's wrong? You need to come to the maintenance tunnels. Now. Before the police seal everything. There's something you need to see. Now. Jamie Boyd didn't sound like the awkward, soft-spoken groundsman she remembered. He sounded shaken, afraid. Where are you? North entrance. The locked gate behind the ivy. And hurry, someone's been inside. I think they're still here. The line clicked dead. Erin stared at the hatch once more. A tunnel below. A witness afraid. And someone still moving in the dark. I'm going down there, one way or another. The gardens were silent, but beneath the earth something echoed. Faint metal tapping, like footsteps on concrete far below. A reminder, Union Terrace Gardens had more than one ghost. Chapter 4, The Gate Behind the Ivy. The north entrance to the maintenance tunnels wasn't marked on any public map. It wasn't signposted, fenced properly, or even acknowledged by the council. But Jamie had once mentioned it to Erin during an interview about vandalism in the gardens, a throwaway comment she'd filed away, because nothing about old cities was ever random. Erin moved fast along Rosemount Viaduct, mist clinging to her coat, shoes slick on wet pavement. Buses rumbled past, releasing blasts of warm diesel air that dissolved into the cold. The rest of the city bustled, oblivious to the quiet machinery beneath its feet. She reached the stairway leading down into the northern corner of the gardens, a flight of stone steps so often ignored that moss had begun curling around the edges. At the bottom, the trees thickened. Ivy climbed the metal railings and dense, tangled ropes. Hidden behind it, just as Jamie had said, was the gate. Still here. A rusted service gate, padlocked, its bars half concealed by leaves and twisting stems. Only the faint outline of a concrete corridor lay beyond it, dark and sloping downward. But Jamie was nowhere in sight.
Jamie, it's Erin. Where are you?
Only the drip of water answered her, falling rhythmically from a gutter into the undergrowth. She glanced around. Benches, bushes, a narrow maintenance path disappearing behind a bend.
He called me 30 minutes ago. He said someone was inside.
She pulled aside a curtain of ivy. Beneath the leaves, the padlock hung crooked. Its shackle snapped clean through. Not cut, snapped. Like someone with time and leverage, not finesse, had forced it.
Jesus, Jamie, what did you find?
She pushed the gate open just enough to slip through. The air changed immediately, cooler, stale, faintly metallic. A long corridor stretched ahead, concrete walls sweating in the cold. Only a weak line of light from the entrance followed her in. A short way down, a maintenance lamp lay toppled on the floor, its casing cracked. Someone had dropped it in a hurry.
Jamie wouldn't run, unless he'd seen something he couldn't explain.
Erin stepped carefully, each footfall sounding louder than intended. The tunnel sloped gently left, then sharpened into a bend. Somewhere ahead, she heard it again. A faint, metallic tapping. Irregular. Wrong. Like someone testing something hollow. She stopped.
Jamie?
The tapping ceased. A long silence followed. Then,
don't move.
Jamie Boyd stood in the tunnel, just a few feet behind her, pale as the concrete around them. His council jacket was zipped up to his throat, but his hands shook visibly.
Jamie, you scared me. What's going on? You called. You shouldn't be here. I shouldn't be here. It's not safe. Tell me what you saw. I thought it was a break-in, tools going missing, lights left on, alarms triggered. But today, his voice cracked. Today, I followed the noise.
He backed away instinctively.
There's a room deeper in, a chamber. I didn't know it existed. The redevelopment plans include it, but they don't mention it. It shouldn't be there. What kind of room? Old, older than the rest, reinforced. Looks like some sort of shelter or operations post. Walls are thick, lined with markings. I saw something inside.
His eyes flicked down the corridor behind Erin.
What did you see? A suit, hanging up, like a boiler suit, reflective strips on it, and footprints, fresh ones, leading out, but no one was there.
Reflective strips. The ghost Tom Ash saw. Footprints leading out, toward the gardens, toward Fraser.
Jamie, did you go inside the chamber? No, I heard something moving behind the far wall, like someone dragging metal. I ran.
A cold draft whispered through the corridor, brushing Erin's neck. Jamie flinched.
Okay, we'll leave. But listen, whoever used that chamber met Fraser last night. We need to know what's down there. No, you don't understand. He pointed to the floor. Look.
A faint trail, dirt smudged into the surface, led down the corridor. Two sets of footprints, one belonging to Jamie, the other heavier, wider, and dragging something. A thin black streak ran beside each print, as if something long had been scraping along the ground.
Jamie, when did you last see these? Just now. They weren't here when I came in earlier.
Meaning, whoever left them was ahead of them, right now, in the tunnel, with them.
Jamie, go, get outside.
Slow, deliberate, closer. Jamie backed toward the gate, breath shaking. Erin's eyes adjusted enough to catch movement at the far end of the corridor. A shadow shifting, just beyond the bend. A shape, tall, still, facing them.
Jamie, run.
Jamie bolted, his footsteps hammered up the tunnel toward the gate. Erin didn't move. She stared down the corridor as the figure remained where it was, motionless, almost blending into the wall. Then it stepped back, not toward her, but into the darkness, as if passing through an unseen opening. Gone. Erin exhaled shakily and started backing away. The corridor seemed to tighten around her, the walls pressing in, the stale smell growing thicker. She reached the gate and slipped out into the cold air, just as Jamie yanked the ivy back into place.
Jamie, talk to me. Who is down there? I don't know, but they're using the old tunnels. And Miss MacLeod. Yes, they don't want anyone to find the chamber.
Erin looked back toward the gate, ivy settling into place like a wound trying to close, a figure moving underground, a chamber buried in city plans, footprints leading to Fraser's death. Someone wasn't just hiding. Someone was hunting. Chapter 5. The Meeting Nobody Admits to. Aberdeen Council headquarters at Marischal College always looked imposing, but today its spires felt sharper, the granite colder, the great facade looming like a judgment. Erin stood on the steps, notebook tucked under one arm, watching councillors file in for the emergency briefing. They moved quickly, habs down, tight lips, pretending Fraser's death was a tragic surprise rather than a political earthquake.
Someone in that building knows why he was in the gardens last night. Someone arranged the meeting, or ambushed it.
She spotted the person she wanted, Morag Sinclair, the face of the Save Our Gardens campaign. Bright scarf, practical boots, and an air of stubborn dignity that made her a local hero to some, and a menace to others. Erin intercepted her halfway up the steps.
Morag, got a moment? Not really. I'm late for the briefing. It'll wait. This won't.
Morag exhaled sharply, folding her arms.
If this is about Fraser, I've already told the police. I wasn't anywhere near the gardens last night. I didn't say you were.
Right. Well, I wasn't. Morag wasn't shaken by Fraser's death. She was irritated. That told Erin plenty.
Did you have a meeting planned with him? Off the record? Something not logged in the council calendar? He wouldn't meet me if his life depended on it.
The phrase hung heavily between them. Morag noticed and winced.
I didn't mean it like that. No? Because Tomasz Nowak says he heard Fraser arguing with a woman in the gardens before he died.
Not fear, but calculation.
Tomasz is a harmless man with a hard life, but he also drinks and hears things that aren't always there. You're quick to dismiss him. I'm quick because I was in a meeting with my core group all night, 12 witnesses. Would you like a list?
Erin raised a hand.
I don't need names. What I need is honesty. Did Fraser contact you? Did he reach out? Even once?
Just,
yes.
Finally.
But not recently. 3 days ago. He asked to meet privately about a compromise. I refused. Why? Because I'm not stupid. He wanted to divide our movement, offer us scraps in exchange for shutting up. He underestimated us. You still refuse to meet? Yes, absolutely.
Morag was telling the truth, but something was off, a strain around her eyes. Not grief, something older.
You knew him longer than you admit, didn't you? What are you implying? Your surname is Sinclair, and there was a Sinclair involved in the 1980s garden protest collapse, the one the council buried.
More than anger now, pain, that before Erin could press, the heavy glass doors swung open.
Well, if it isn't Aberdeen's favorite troublemakers.
Gavin Kell, the developer fronting the redevelopment, walked toward them with a smile that felt lacquered on. Sharp suit, expensive coat, confidence oozing like oil.
Ms. MacLeod, Morag, you two look deep in discussion. Planning to blame me for Fraser too? Give me time.
Gavin enjoyed being disliked. It gave him something to push against.
Mr. Kell, since you're here, mind answering a quick question? For you? Always. Did you meet Fraser last night? No. Unlike Fraser, I don't sneak through parks before dawn. I'm at home at 5 a.m, asleep like civilized people.
He continued before she could challenge him.
But for what it's worth, Fraser seemed nervous yesterday. Unusually so. I assumed it was because of the protest backlash, but now he spread his hands. Maybe there was something else going on.
You're loving this.
Morag, please. A man is dead.
The moment hung between them. Cold, brittle. The council doors buzzed. Staff hurried inside.
Briefing time. Ms. MacLeod, always a pleasure. Morag, try not to get arrested today. He was lying, not about everything, but about something. Morag pulled her scarf tighter. Don't let Gavin distract you. He's a vulture, but he didn't kill Fraser. He can't even climb a hillside without help. And who did? Someone who's been waiting years for payback. Someone with a very deep knowledge of those tunnels. Like? Ask yourself why they were built, and why the council stopped talking about them. Some things under this city were never meant to be found.
Morag turned and walked into the building, leaving Erin alone on the steps. Her phone buzzed. A new message.
He is back in the gardens. The ghost, near the lower bridge. Hurry.
Erin looked toward the gardens, where the mist thickened again, crawling up from the hollow like smoke from a deep furnace. Someone was down there, moving, watching, and Tomasz, this time, might not be the only witness. Chapter 6. The Shadow at the Lower Bridge. The mist had settled so thickly over Union Terrace Gardens that the world beyond 20 feet simply didn't exist. Erin descended the steps, each one slick with condensation. Her breath fogged instantly, swallowed by the gray. If Thomas said the figure was back, there was no time to wait, no time for Reed, no time for backup. Every instinct urged her forward, toward danger she couldn't yet name.
Someone killed Fraser. Someone who knows these tunnels. Someone who doesn't mind being seen as a ghost.
As she reached the lower path, a shape flickered near the bridge, the stone arch that spanned the center of the gardens. Something slender, upright, still. Her heart thumped once, hard.
Tomasz?
Only the sound of trickling water from the stream and the distant rumble of buses overhead. The figure didn't move. Erin took a cautious step forward, eyes adjusting to the patchwork of shadow and mist. The trees above dripped quietly. The world narrowed into a tunnel of gray. 10 steps away, 8, 5, the figure shifted. Not much, just enough. Enough to confirm it was real.
Her voice came out tight. Who's there?
A beat passed. Then,
Ms. MacLeod, here, quick!
Thomas emerged from behind the bench cluster near the west slope, waving both arms in panic. He looked disheveled, frightened, like he'd sprinted halfway through the city.
Tomasz, where? She looked back. The figure under the bridge was gone.
Completely. No rustle of leaves, no footfall, nothing. It hadn't walked away. It had simply disappeared.
It was there, I swear. I kept my distance. It was watching the tunnel slope. I thought it was waiting for you. It was waiting for something.
His hands trembled violently.
Listen, I saw more. Just now, someone else was down here. A man went toward the underbridge path. Then I heard a shout. He clutched his head. A woman's voice. I think she was arguing with him.
Another argument. Another woman's voice. Morag? Someone connected to the tunnels? Someone Fraser had met?
Where? Thomas pointed shakily toward a narrow side path running beneath the bridge. In daylight, it was innocuous. Benches, railings, a view of the stream. But in this light, it looked like the mouth of something older and unfriendly.
Erin and Thomas moved quickly but quietly. The path was slick, uneven. Mist drifted beneath the archway like slow smoke. Halfway down, Thomas halted abruptly. Look. There, on the ground, fresh marks where someone had slipped. A heel scrape, a sideways skid, and beside it, a faint print in mud. Wide, heavy, the same shape she'd seen in the tunnel.
The same person stalking the underground chamber.
A dark smear trailed from the footprint toward the stone supports of the bridge. Oil? Mud? She crouched and touched it lightly. Cold, greasy. The same residue she'd felt near the hatch.
He was here, the ghost man. I saw him bend to look at the ground. He knew someone else was down here. Then let's find out who.
A voice cut through the fog. You shouldn't be here. Erin spun. A silhouette stepped from beneath the arch, shorter than the ghostly figure. Hood up, shoulders hunched. Jamie Boyd, but not the timid, shaking Jamie from earlier. His face was pale, but his posture held something new. Determination or desperation.
You need to leave. Both of you. Right now. Jamie, we saw someone watching you earlier. Someone in the tunnels. I know. Then tell me who they are. What they want. Why they were following you. I can't. They'll hear. They hear everything in these walls.
The tunnels run right beneath us. Sound travels through them. Footsteps, voices, everything.
Jamie, did you see Fraser last night? His breath caught. Yes.
Erin felt her pulse spike.
Did you meet him willingly?
He messaged me.
Asked me to open the hatch. Said it was urgent. Council business. I didn't know. His voice cracked.
I didn't know he wouldn't come back out. A gust of wind swept through the archway, stirring mist into their faces. The hollow beneath the garden seemed to sigh.
What happened in the chamber, Jamie? I don't know. I stayed near the entrance, heard him arguing with someone further in, a woman. I think she was crying. Then,
I heard metal, like something dragging, and then a scream. I ran. I locked the hatch from the outside and ran.
You trapped them. I didn't know what else to do.
Before she could calm him, something moved behind them, fast. A sharp metallic clang echoed from within the bridge structure. Then another, a deliberate rhythm. Tap, tap, drag, the same sound from the tunnel.
He's here.
Jamie backed away, white-faced.
I told you, they don't want witnesses. They don't want anyone near that chamber.
What do they want?
To finish what they started in the 80s.
A shadow spilled across the mist behind the stone archway, tall, stretched, shifting. The figure was returning.
They're not haunting the gardens. They're hunting them.
Erin grabbed Jamie and Tomaj, pulling them back onto the path just as the shape stepped forward from the darkness. Tall, silent, reflective strips catching what little light escaped the mist. The ghost of Union Terrace Gardens had arrived. Chapter 7. The Man in the Reflective Suit. The figure stood beneath the lower bridge like a piece of the darkness that had learned how to stand. The reflective strips on the suit caught faint glimmers of ambient light, turning its outline into a fractured silhouette, not quite human in the mist. Jamie froze. Tomas stumbled backward until he hit the railings. Erin remained perfectly still. The figure didn't move, didn't speak, didn't breathe loudly enough to hear, just stood, watching.
Don't run. I am already running inside.
A small, unnatural angle, as if assessing them individually. Erin felt the primal instinct stir at the base of her spine, the ancient certainty that you were being studied by something that had already chosen a course of action. Then the figure stepped forward. Not fast, not threatening, just purposeful.
Stay where you are.
A silent obedience, or amusement. It was hard to tell through the fog. Jamie's voice cracked.
He wasn't supposed to be out this early. He only moves at night.
Jamie, what do you mean supposed to?
I told you. I didn't know he would come out after the scream. I thought I sealed the hatch properly.
The suit wasn't clean anymore. Streaks of dark residue, the same oily substance she'd seen near the hatch, smeared the knees, the forearms, the chest. The figure's right glove dangled a thin piece of cloth. Gray, torn, a fragment of a suit jacket. Fraser's suit jacket.
Oh God!
Slowly, mechanically, as though each movement was painful or carefully measured. Then, a voice. But not from the figure, from behind it.
Stop right there!
A woman emerged from the darkness beyond the bridge, torch in hand. Morag Sinclair. But she wasn't dressed for council meetings this time. She wore dark waterproofs, boots caked in mud, a headlamp strapped around her forehead, switched off. She was breathing hard, like she'd run the length of the gardens. The reflective suit figure didn't react to her, which meant it wasn't with her.
Morag? I told you people to stay away from these tunnels. You don't understand what's down there.
For a moment, the four of them existed in a frozen tableau. Erin and Tomash on one side, Morag on the other, the silent figure in the center, an unblinking sentinel.
What is this? Who's that? Not here. Move. Now. Morag, tell me. He's not gonna hurt you. He's only reacting. Reacting to what?
To sound.
A sound trigger? Morag nods sharply. He'll follow loud noises. He's practically blind in that suit.
So the head tilt, the hesitation, the strange pacing, not supernatural, not spectral. A person in a suit designed for low-light tunnel work. A person who could hear far better than they could see. But who? And why? The figure takes another step. Morag's voice cuts the air like a blade.
Hey!
It freezes again. Morag slowly reaches into her jacket pocket. Jamie whimpers.
You brought it? Why would you bring it here?
Because he'll follow this and not you. Inside, something rattled faintly when she moved it. A sonic lure, a device, something built to grab the suit wearer's attention.
Morag, who is he?
You don't want to know. I do. His name was Declan. Split-second silence. Not was. Is. Morag corrects herself.
Declan Sinclair.
The surname slams into her like a cold wave. Sinclair. The same as the protester who died in the 1980s tunnel collapse. The same as Morag.
He's your family? My brother.
Jamie shakes his head violently, as if rejecting the world.
He died. Everyone said he died. The collapse killed him, they said.
A lied. She holds the metal lure low, clicking a small switch. A soft, pulsing hum fills the air. The figure tilts its head again, this time toward Morag.
Declan, it's okay. I'm here. Just come with me.
Inside that mask, inside that reinforced, dirt-streaked shell, was a man the city believed dead for 40 years. A man Fraser might have met last night. A man who might still be capable of killing. Or a man used by someone else. Declan takes a slow, unsteady step toward Morag. But then, a new sound. From the tunnel entrance. Metal scraping. A door or hatch shifting. Someone else. Another presence underground. Declan turns sharply, away from Morag, away from Erin, and starts moving toward the sound. Fast. Too fast for someone who should be barely able to stand.
Morag, what is he doing? He heard someone. Someone he recognizes. Who?
Her voice is barely a whisper.
The one he screams for at night.
This isn't just a killer. This isn't just a ghost story. This is a decades-old wound in the city, wide open again. The mist thickens. Declan disappears into it, like a memory sinking back into the earth. And Erin knows one thing for certain. Someone else is controlling the ghost of Union Terrace Gardens, and that someone is still down there. Chapter 8, Into the Blind Tunnels. The mist swallowed Declan whole. One moment he was a reflective silhouette cutting through the gray. The next, nothing but shifting vapor and the echo of hurried footfalls dissolving under the bridge. For a long beat, nobody moved. The gardens seemed to hold their breath.
Morag, who did he hear? Who's down there? I don't know, but if Declan recognizes them, it's someone from before the collapse.
Before the collapse, 40 years ago, someone still alive, someone still moving in those tunnels. Someone who knew Declan Sinclair was alive.
And Fraser met them last night.
Janie's breathing grew thin and ragged. His hands twitched at his jacket, like he was trying to pull the fabric tighter around him.
We shouldn't be here. If he's down there, is there down there? Jamie, look at me.
His eyes flicker wildly.
You know those tunnels better than anyone here. You know the layouts, the shortcuts, the blind corners. Yes, and that's exactly why we should not go down there. If someone else is controlling Declan, we don't have a choice.
Not footsteps this time. A low, metallic groan like a door grinding open deep under the earth. Thomas clutched the railing so hard his knuckles whitened.
That is not a normal sound. It was the same sound she'd heard beneath the grass the morning Fraser died. A chamber opening, a space shifting. Someone inside.
Show me the entrance, not the north gate, the one Fraser used.
How did? I saw the disturbances, and Jamie confirmed it. Fraser didn't die out here. He died down there.
Defeat, fear, and determination mix in her expression like storm clouds.
Fine, but we move quietly. Declan reacts to sound. If you startle him, he doesn't just react to sound. He attacks sound.
So the ghost wasn't a ghost. He was a weaponized memory, frightened and trained by circumstance to lash toward noise.
Then we move in silence.
The four of them slipped along the lower path toward a cluster of ornamental shrubs bordering the lower bridge. Behind the foliage, half hidden by roots and earth, sat a rusted steel service hatch, horizontal, flush with the ground. Not the one from earlier, another, older.
This one was sealed in 1991, or so they told us. It was opened recently.
Fresh, deliberate, made with tools she recognized from municipal maintenance kits. Jamie shut his eyes.
That's my toolkit. I thought someone was stealing spares, but they weren't stealing. They were accessing Declan.
She slides her fingers into a gap where a bolt had been removed. The hatch lifts with a heavy groan. Cold, stale air rushes up, the smell of wet stone and decades without sunlight. Inside, metal rungs descend into darkness. Tomas crosses himself.
This is a coffin for the living. It was meant to be.
The ladder dropped 15 feet into a tunnel lit only by the faintest glow. An old red emergency bulb flickering like an ember fighting extinction.
I'm going down. No, you don't understand what's beneath. The rooms aren't straight. The floors dip. There are blind trenches. The old air vents whistle in ways. Jamie, someone down there killed a councillor. Someone is controlling your tunnels. And Declan is walking toward them as we speak.
He lets go.
I'll come. He responds to my voice. If Declan panics, I can calm him. And me? Stay at the entrance. If we don't come back in 10 minutes, call Reed. And don't let anyone close the hatch.
His eyes stay fixed on the darkness as though watching the hole might stop it from swallowing people whole. Erin sets her boot on the first rung. Her heartbeat echoes in her ears. She descends.
Slow. Keep your feet on the sides. It's slippery.
The moment his boots hit the ground, his shoulders hunched inward like the tunnel air pressed on him. The hatch closes above them with a hollow thud. Darkness deepens. Only the red bulb glows, resting on its last breath. The tunnel smells of damp concrete, rust and long-buried secrets. Water collects in shallow pools along the uneven floor. Far in the distance, a faint metallic sound. Drag. Pause. Drag. Declan.
He's close. He always lingers near the chamber. He remembers it. Even after everything they did to him, he remembers. Morag, what did they do to him?
They sealed him in with the others. They said it was an accident. But some accidents get maintained. Jamie lets out a sharp exhale.
You mean he wasn't rescued because they didn't try? They tried, just not hard enough. And when they found one survivor, they didn't want that survivor talking.
A chill cuts through her.
So they hid him. My parents died never knowing he lived.
A weak light flickers up ahead. Another red bulb. Beneath it, a door. Fixed steel, bolted, but open a crack. Jamie's breath hitches.
That's the chamber. He might be inside, and if someone else is there too.
The hinges cry out softly. Inside lies a large circular room, walls reinforced with old civil defense concrete, a map stand collapsed in a corner, and a long metal table set sideways, as if used as a barricade. Dust blankets everything. Almost everything. Fresh footprints circle the room, 2 sets, one heavy, Declan, one lighter, someone agile, someone alive. At the far wall, in the darkest corner, a shadow moves, not Declan, a person watching them, waiting. Erin steps forward, heart pounding hard enough to feel in her fingertips.
Show yourself.
Then from the darkness, a voice she didn't recognize, low, rough, aged by years underground.
You shouldn't have come, Miss MacLeod. Chapter 9, The Man in the Corner.
The voice seeped from the far corner of the chamber like cold water soaking through stone. Erin's breath stalled. Morag gripped the lure device tighter. Jamie flattened himself against the wall, trembling. The red emergency bulb flickered, throwing uneven shadows across the circular room.
Step forward, slowly.
The shadow didn't hesitate. It detached itself from the darkness and resolved into a human shape, a man, late 50s maybe. Rough beard, deep lines carved into his face like stone, worn by decades of pressure. He wasn't in a reflective suit. He wasn't trying to hide. He stood with the posture of someone who had stopped being afraid a long time ago. I told you not to come down here. Not the face, not the clothes, the voice. A voice she'd heard in old Aberdeen council recordings. A voice tied to the collapse investigation.
Orden Kerr.
Even Morag's head snapped up.
No, that's impossible.
Alive. Very much alive.
You were the safety officer during the tunnel collapse. You were blamed for the structural failure. You disappeared. I didn't disappear. I was removed.
Removed by who?
Ask her. Ask her family.
What the hell are you talking about?
You know exactly what I'm talking about. Your father was one of the councillors who signed off on the shutdown. The same man who ordered the tunnels sealed before we could get everyone out.
Morag's face drains of color.
Liar, your father had a choice. Admit the city cut corners or bury the evidence. So you were left down here for 4 days with Declan, with 2 others who didn't make it.
Erin feels the world tilt slightly.
And after you got out, I camped out in these tunnels. I kept watch. I kept Declan alive. I kept the truth from being lost.
Alive was a generous term. Declan wasn't living. He was surviving in a suit built to withstand the dark. His mind fractured, his senses wired to sound.
You trained him. I protected him, kept him from wandering into the city, kept him from being found by the same people who left him to die. He's my brother, and I did what I could, but he's not the same boy you lost. The tunnels took pieces of him you will never get back.
Why kill Fraser?
He came to see Declan. He wanted to make a deal, said he'd clean up the last loose ends if I stayed quiet. No. Yes. Fraser wanted to keep the redevelopment clean of scandal. That meant shutting down the tunnels, sealing Declan in again, permanently this time. So you killed him. I didn't touch him.
Then who? A faint metallic noise echoes from the corridor, not Declan's heavy dragging steps. Faster, lighter. Someone else is down there.
He wasn't alone that night. Then who was he meeting? Someone who was supposed to be dead.
Morag stumbles back, eyes wide.
No, not him. Jamie's voice comes out broken. Who? Who else survived? The third person trapped with us. The one who cracked first. The one who tried to kill Declan for breathing too loud. The one who escaped 3 days before the rescue attempt.
Someone who escaped? Someone the city never accounted for?
What's his name? Alistair Gibb.
Thomas sobbed softly from above the hatch when he heard the name. Alistair Gibb, the protest leader. The one whose death was the catalyst for the tragedy. The one memorialized in newspaper clippings as a martyr. The one who was supposedly crushed by falling masonry. But he hadn't died. He had run.
And he came back. He came back for Declan, not to rescue him, to finish what he started.
Footsteps, slow, measured. Not Declan's dragging steps. Not Gordon's. Not Morag's. Not Jamie's. Someone else.
He's coming.
A gate with confidence, purpose, memory. A man who once survived these tunnels and knew them intimately. The footsteps grow louder, closer.
The ghost has a ghost of his own.
At the far end of the corridor, a silhouette appears. Tall, lean, purposeful. A voice rasped out, deep and unmistakably human.
You shouldn't have opened that door. Chapter 10. The Ghost Behind the Ghost.
A silhouette filled the corridor like a shadow that had finally learned to speak. Erin felt her pulse tighten, her breath thin. Morag rose shakily to her feet. Jamie pressed into the wall, trembling so hard his teeth clicked. The man stepped fully into the dying red light. Alistair Gibb, older, gaunt, hair matted with gray and tunnel dust. Eyes burning with a hollow brightness that suggested he'd been living underground far longer than sanity permitted. But alive. Not a martyr, not a victim. Something sharper.
You people should have stayed above ground. This place isn't for you. You've no right to be here, Alistair.
I've more right than any of them.
I bled for this place. I died for it, and then I kept going.
She steps forward just enough to be noticed, not enough to provoke.
Alistair Gibb, the city thinks you died in 1983.
Let them. Useful thing, being dead. People stop asking questions. His movements were deliberate, almost ritualistic. His gaze darted between Morag, Gordon, the chamber, the corridor, calculating. He knew every blind angle, every echo. This was his labyrinth.
You were here the night Fraser died. He was. Fraser came to make a deal. He wanted to seal Declan in. Permanently. Said the redevelopment couldn't go ahead with historical complications.
You mean human beings?
No, I mean proof. Proof of what this city does to inconvenient people.
He believed every word. He believed he'd kept the truth alive. But something about him was wrong. not broken like Declan, but sharpened to a point.
What happened in the chamber last night?
A strange, animalistic gesture.
I spoke to Fraser, told him the truth, told him he and his council friends weren't the first to lock us away, that they wouldn't be the last. You threatened him. I explained consequences.
He's proud. He thinks this was righteous, but he still hasn't admitted it.
Did you kill him?
Even the drips from the ceiling seemed to stop.
No.
No flicker. No dodge. Just truth, but not innocence.
Declan did. No, he wouldn't. He couldn't. He reacted to the sound. Fraser shouted at him. Declan moved without thinking. He always does. You made him that way. I kept him alive.
Her voice slices between them.
And who told Declan to meet Fraser in the first place? A pause, almost imperceptible, but enough. You arranged the meeting. He's been using Declan, manipulating him.
You monster. You don't understand what it's like down here. The darkness teaches you, forces you to see what people really are. Declan needed direction. He needed purpose.
You used a traumatized man as a weapon, better than letting him rot like the council wanted.
And better than letting the garden become another monument to lies.
And why are you back now?
I heard something. Someone. I followed him.
Followed who? Declan.
The chamber suddenly feels colder, quieter, hollow. Janie whispers the words everyone else is too afraid to say.
He was right behind us.
No dragging footsteps. No metallic scrape. No breath. Declan is gone.
He must have doubled back. He never stops moving if he hears new sound. Then where is he now?
Footprints. Fresh. Declan's wide, heavy prints lead around the far side of the chamber, toward an auxiliary tunnel Erin hadn't noticed before. A narrow maintenance shaft with no light and no map reference. A perfect blind corner. A perfect hiding spot. And the footprints end there.
Declan? Declan, sweetheart, come out, please.
Then, a sudden, deafening clang from behind the steel door. Jamie screams. Morag flinches. Gordon steps forward instinctively. Erin wheels around as something slams hard into the metal from outside. Not a fist, not a tool, a body. Declan's, trying to get in.
He doesn't want me to leave.
Declan wasn't reacting to sound anymore. He was reacting to people, to Alistair, to the man he'd survived with, to the man who had controlled every minute of his underground life.
We need to move. If he breaks through that door, he won't. He doesn't break things. He's careful.
Metal warps, bolts strain. Declan is stronger than Alistair ever believed.
Out! Now!
The chamber shakes as another impact rocks the steel door. Jamie grabs the rungs and scrambles up first, sobbing. Morag is next, lungs ripping air. Gordon hesitates, torn between retreat and decades of guilt. Erin pushes him.
Move!
A single hollow thud, so heavy it vibrates the concrete beneath her boots. Declan Sinclair has found the door handle, and he is learning how to use it. Chapter 11, The Gardens in the Dark. Erin climbed the ladder 2 rungs at a time, fingers slipping on damp metal. The stale tunnel air pressed against her back like a breath that didn't belong to her. Below, the chamber shuddered under another violent impact. Declan was learning the door. Above her, Jamie's boots clattered against the upper hatch frame. Morag was only seconds behind him, gasping between sharp breaths.
Hurry! For God's sake, move!
Her shoulders burned. Boots scraped. Every heartbeat counted. The hatch groaned as Jamie shoved it fully open, mist pouring in like smoke from a smothered fire. He fell backward onto the grass, coughing. Morag emerged next, dragging herself onto the wet slope. Erin took the final rung in a single heave.
Don't close it.
Gordon's hand shot up. She grabbed his wrist and heaved until his boots cleared the hatch rim. Behind him, down in the tunnel, came the worst sound yet. A slow metallic turning. A handle, heavy, being twisted. Successfully.
He's opened it. He's never opened it before.
She expected it to be easy. A clean, heavy drop. It didn't drop. Something was pushing against it from below. A fist? A forearm? A shoulder? Whatever it was, it forced the hatch up half an inch before Erin threw her entire weight onto it. The metal was cold through her jeans.
Declan, please, stop.
Erin kept holding the hatch. Kept holding because she didn't trust silence in this place. Jamie scrambled forward, fumbling with the broken padlock.
We need something heavy, stones, tools, anything. No, that'll only make him hit it harder. He'll think we're calling him. He's following the strongest sound. Right now, that's us.
But he knows my voice, she whispered. He always comes when I call.
And you'll tear this hatch off its hinges if he thinks you're in danger. The ground beneath them thumped once. Not violent, not frantic, but intentional. Declan was standing directly under the hatch, listening. Thomas, who had remained near the shrubs during the descent, ran toward them. What did you do? The hatch was shaking. People heard it from the street.
Quiet. You want him breaking through? The gardens suddenly felt enormous and claustrophobic all at once. Mist swirling through tree trunks, bridges glowing faintly overhead, the city distant and uncaring. Erin forced herself to breathe steadily.
We need to move away from this spot. Slowly, no sudden sounds. And if he gets out, he'll follow the loudest thing he hears. And the gardens echo. If we're quiet enough, he might go the other way.
The hatch lay closed beneath her. The metal was still, but warmth bled through. Body heat from below. Declan was right there, watching through the dark, waiting.
Spread out, soft steps. Head for the lower path.
Slowly, breathing shallow. Shoes touching grass with deliberate caution. Morag stuck close to Erin, tears streaking her face silently.
I don't want him hurt. I just want him out of this hell. We're not here to hurt him, but someone is manipulating him. Fraser wasn't just an accident. Alistair always believed Declan was a weapon waiting to be sharpened.
And what do you believe?
He's a victim, just like the rest of us.
They reached the lower path, the stone underbridge looming ahead like the mouth of an ancient creature. Streetlights gleamed through the haze. The world felt suspended. Behind them, a sound. Soft. A scrape. Metal on stone. Then a faint click. Jamie froze mid-step.
That was the hatch bolt. He's opened it. No, Declan, please. Morag, don't call him. Don't let him lock onto your voice.
A shape emerged. Slow, tall, swaying slightly as it adjusted to the open air. Declan Sinclair, still wearing the reflective suit, still dragging a streak of oil-stained cloth. A piece of Fraser's jacket tied around one wrist, like a memory he couldn't let go. His head turned toward the smallest sound, Tomas's shoe scraping stone, and he took a heavy step forward, not running, not attacking, searching, like a child calling out with his body instead of words.
Declan! Don't.
Declan's head snapped toward them, toward her. His entire body reoriented like a compass needle struck by a magnetic field. He started walking, fast, heavy, purposeful. Jamie stumbled backward.
He's coming straight for us. He thinks Morag is in danger. He's coming to protect her. If he reached them, someone would be hurt. Not because he wanted to, because the world had taught him that sound equals threat. Morag was trembling, torn between terror and love. Declan, please stop. Declan walked faster. Erin stepped forward. Declan, over here!
He corrected course, turning toward her voice. Morag gasped.
He's following you.
He wasn't following her. He was following the sound she made, the controlled, predictable sound. She pointed toward the opposite side of the gardens, a wide stretch of grass leading toward the theater steps, far from civilians, far from Morag.
Declan, this way!
A heavy stride, then another, then a near run, a silent, powerful charge toward the direction she guided him. Like a ghost drawn by gravity, Morag whispered through tears.
You're leading him away. I'm keeping him from hurting anyone.
Because behind Declan, through the thinning mist, another shape emerged. Alistair Gibb, following the ghost he created. And this time, he wasn't hiding. He sprinted after Declan with terrifying purpose.
Declan! Come back!
Dead still. Morag gasped. Jamie stumbled. Gordon swore again. Erin felt the world pivot on a knife edge.
Declan doesn't need a lure. He doesn't need Morag. He responds to the voice he knows best. Alistair's. Good lad, now come to me.
Slowly, obediently, a loyal ghost, following the wrong master. Gordon whispered the truth.
He's taking him underground again.
Erin felt cold certainty in her chest. If Alistair got Declan back into the tunnels, none of them would ever see either man alive again. Chapter 12, The Descent Toward Nowhere. Declan turned toward Alistair the way metal turns toward a magnet, helplessly, instinctively, pulled by a force older than reason. The gardens held their breath. Mist curled around Declan's reflective strips, making him glow faintly like a figure emerging from smoke. Alistair stood 20 feet away, panting, eyes wild with triumph and desperation.
That's it, good lad. Come on now. We're going home.
Jamie let out a broken whimper. Morag's hand flew to her mouth. Gordon swore under his breath, a strangled, hopeless sound.
We can't let him take Declan back underground. If he does, we lose them both, and the truth dies with them. He's my brother. I can't let him vanish again.
He moved with purpose now. No stumbling, no fear. This was a man who had lived 4 decades in the shadows and believed the shadows belonged to him. Declan took another step toward him.
Declan!
Not a turn, a flinch, a crack in the conditioning. Morag seized it.
Declan, sweetheart, look at me.
Hope flickered, but Alistair reacted instantly.
No, ignore her. You listen to me.
A child caught between 2 parents, one loved, one feared. Erin saw it clearly now. Declan wasn't dangerous by nature. He had been shaped, pushed, guided, manipulated until he moved like a weapon.
He doesn't understand violence. He understands direction.
A dangerous move.
Again, he's not going with you.
Even the traffic above seemed to hush. Declan took one heavy step toward Erin instead of Alistair. Alistair's face contorted, not in fury, but something worse. Fear. Fear of losing control.
Declan, stop!
Erin's lungs froze. Morag's breath hitched. Jamie had both hands clasped over his mouth to stop himself from making noise.
Declan, look at me. Not him. Me.
He listens. He listens. A small miracle in the mist. Alistair steps forward, hand outstretched.
Declan, come here.
And Declan responds instantly, not by moving toward him, but by reacting to the volume. Sound, sharp, authoritative, a threat in Declan's broken world. His posture changes, shoulders tightening, head tilting, senses narrowing.
Oh no. Alistair doesn't understand. He's triggering him.
A sound has been deemed a threat. Declan steps toward Alistair. Fast, too fast. Morag screams.
Alistair, run!
He turns, not toward safety, but toward the lower hatch they just escaped from, toward the underground, the wrong direction.
He's going back down. He's going back down.
Each footfall a dull thud on the wet path. Alistair fumbles at the hatch, hands slipping on the handle. Declan, stop! A second of wobbling equilibrium. Alistair kicks the hatch open. The hole yawns beneath him. He jumps in. Declan leaps after him. Morag screams again, raw, visceral heartbreak.
No, Declan, no!
The darkness below swallows both figures. No thuds, no cries, only the echo of their descent. Jamie staggers backward, shaking violently.
This is my fault. I opened the tunnels. I thought I was fixing things. I didn't know I was feeding a monster. He's not a monster. He's a survivor.
We're going after them.
We? He won't hurt us unless we make noise. But Alistair, he knows those tunnels. He'll trap Declan again. And if he locks him in one of the sealed rooms, we lose him forever. I'll stay up here. I'll call Reed. I'll block anyone else from coming close.
Thank you, Tomas. A faint echo of movement drifts up. A scrape, a thud, a distant cry that might be Alistair's or might be the wind's memory. Morag wipes her tears, standing shakily.
I'm coming with you. He's my brother.
We go quietly. No shouting, no sudden noises. Stay close. Keep eyes forward. Jamie hesitates, then follows, swallowing his fear.
I won't let him down again.
The darkness seems deeper this time, thicker, watching, waiting. She descends. 1 rung, 2, 3. Morag behind her. Gordon beneath. Jamie last. As the hatch closes above their heads, the gardens vanish, and the tunnels reclaim them. Ahead, faint echoes ripple through the labyrinth. 2 men moving deeper, one running for control, the other running from the only world he ever knew. Erin whispers into the black.
Declan, hold on. We're coming.
And the tunnels answer with a distant metallic cry. Chapter 13, What the Tunnels Remember. The ladder shook beneath their weight, each rung creaking with cold, damp protest. The deeper they descended, the more the world above shrank into a memory. The mist, the gardens, the faint glow of streetlights gone, replaced by the claustrophobic press of Aberdeen's underground. Erin's boots met the flooded concrete floor with a soft splash. Morag landed beside her, breathing hard. Jamie descended shakily, followed by Gordon. The air was colder down here, older, like the earth itself had not exhaled in 40 years. Somewhere deeper in the tunnels, a metallic clang echoed. Declan or Alistair, or both. They had a head start.
We stick to the left-hand path. It loops toward the old operator's wing.
And that's where he'll take Declan?
It's where he always goes when he wants to disappear. It's where Declan was trapped.
The beam cut a thin slice through the dark, illuminating rusted pipes, flaking concrete, and warning signs nearly dissolved by time. They moved slowly, their steps soft, careful, knowing any sharp sound could drag Declan back toward them in the wrong way. Up ahead, the corridor narrowed. Jamie froze.
Wait! Listen!
A faint drip, a hiss of distant pipes. Then, a dragging sound. Not frantic, not aggressive. Slow, deliberate. Declan's suit scraping along the wall.
He's tired. He only drags the suit when he's struggling, or when Alistair is forcing him to keep moving.
Let's go. Deeper into the maze. The tunnel widened unexpectedly into a sloping chamber where the ceiling curved like a giant ribcage. Old floodlights, long dead, hung from the beams like broken teeth. The floor dipped into ankle-deep water that rippled as they passed.
Declan, can you hear me? Careful, don't call too loud.
She lowers her voice to a careful murmur.
We're close. We're here to help you.
Not words, a dull impact. Metal against metal. Jamie winces.
That's the auxiliary gate. It leads to the lower collapse site, and that's where Alistair is taking him. He's recreating it. He's taking Declan back to the place he never escaped. He was always obsessed with that night. Obsessed with rewriting it. Alistair hadn't survived the collapse. He'd been formed by it. The gate.
They rounded a corner and saw it. A rusted steel gate set into the wall, hanging half off its track. Fresh scrape marks scarred the frame. Declan-sized marks.
He forced it open. Or Alistair made him. He's hurting him. We're stopping this, now.
The air grows colder, sinking into their skin. Ahead lies a long, sloped corridor. One side collapsed decades ago, rubble frozen like a wave mid-crash. Torches flicker in the distance. Not theirs. Someone else brought them.
He set up lights. Alistair planned this.
This wasn't madness. It wasn't improvisation. Alistair Gibb had been preparing for this confrontation for years, the collapse site. They reach a huge cavern made of broken concrete and bent steel, the heart of the old disaster. Everything smells of wet stone and old injuries. The remnants of handwritten markings still cling to one wall. Faded names, tally marks, desperate words left by trapped men. Morag touches them with trembling fingers.
These were Declan's. All of ours.
There. Footprints. Wide, heavy prints, leading toward a narrow crevice between 2 fallen beams, the only open passage deeper in. And beside them, lighter, sharper footprints. Alistair's.
They've gone through. So do we.
The metal scrapes Erin's back. Morag bites back a whimper as her coat tears. Jamie trembles as the space tightens around him. Then they break through into a smaller chamber. Dim light flickers. Two shapes stand in the middle of it. Declan, shaking, hunched, exhausted, his reflective suit dented from impacts. Alistair, one hand on his shoulder, the other gripping a crowbar. He turns when he hears them.
I knew you'd follow.
Her voice cracks open.
Declan, please look at me. You don't have to stay here. You're not trapped anymore.
Not fully, just enough. Enough for Morag to see his eyes through the cracked visor. Damaged? Yes, but still human. Still her brother. But Alistair tightens his grip.
He's not leaving. He stays with me. You don't own him. I'm the only one who kept him alive. You used him. I saved him.
He stumbles backward, bumping into the steel wall. His breathing grows loud, panicked, confused. Jamie panics.
He's reacting to the noise. We have to calm him.
Declan, it's okay. You're safe. You're not alone.
Declan, sweetheart, we're here.
Declan is listening, not to him, but to them.
No. Declan, come to me.
Declan reacts like he's been struck. He lurches forward, toward the loudest sound, toward Alistair, but not in obedience. In fear, Alistair stumbles back.
Declan, stop. Stop.
A reflex, a response to noise, a conditioned reaction. His gloved hand closes around Alistair's arm, a grip far too strong. Alistair screams.
Erin, Morag, do something.
Her torch trembling in her hand, her mind racing.
Declan, here!
Declan releases Alistair and spins toward Erin, the steady, predictable sound pulling him like gravity. Alistair collapses to the floor, gasping. Morag reaches toward her brother, tears flooding her face.
Come home, Declan. Please come home.
Another. Then, a voice behind them.
Nobody moves.
D.I. Reed, armed, pale, eyes wide at the sight of the reflective suit, the collapsed chamber, the decades of secrets exposed.
Step away from him, all of you.
Declan freezes. Alistair stares up, horror dawning. Gordon whispers the only truth that matters.
A gunshot will sound like a bomb to him.
And Declan Sinclair, the ghost of Union Terrace Gardens, is standing one trigger pull away from catastrophe. Chapter 14. The sound that could shatter him. The gun looked impossibly bright in the dim chamber, a hard shape pressed into the trembling air. D.I. Reed stood at the narrow entrance, breath quick, weapon raised but wavering, not out of inexperience, but out of the dawning horror of where he was and who stood before him. Declan Sinclair, glowing faintly in his battered reflective suit, stood motionless, frozen by the presence of something louder, sharper, more dangerous than anything in his world. A gunshot. A single blast would rip through the tunnels like a shockwave. It would break him. Erin stepped forward before fear could glue her in place.
Reed, lower the gun. MacLeod, step aside. I don't know what that man is capable of. If you fire, you'll kill all of us. He's not a threat. He's terrified.
Sweat beads at his temple, not from exertion, from the enormity of what he's seeing, from the realization that every assumption he brought into this chamber is wrong.
He just attacked a civilian. He grabbed me. He nearly ripped my arm off.
Because you shouted. You're the one he reacts to. Reed blinks, absorbing that, disbelieving it, but not dismissing it.
He's sound-triggered. He's been conditioned to defend himself from loud, sharp noises. You fire that gun, Reed, he'll charge blindly, and he'll tear every one of us down trying to stop the pain.
Just an inch, a subtle movement, but Reed sees it. His finger curls tighter on the trigger.
Stop! You're scaring him.
The slightest tremor runs through the suit, a flinch at the noise. Erin steps forward again. She raises both hands, palms out.
Declan, it's okay. You're safe.
Reed swallows.
MacLeod, what is he? A victim you almost shot.
He lowers the gun maybe half an inch. Not enough, but a start.
Reed, we need quiet. We need calm. We need you to trust us. I can't let an unstable man leave these tunnels. End.
He's not leaving. He's going home. Morag moves beside Erin, her hands trembling.
Please, look at me.
His cracked visor reflects Morag's face, pale, tear-streaked, desperate. He takes a step toward her. Reed tenses, gun rising again.
Reed!
Erin whips her head toward Reed.
If you raise that gun again, you will kill us. There's no scenario where you walk out of here.
He's a good officer, a rational one. But he's standing underground with a traumatized man who looks like a ghost wearing armor.
I don't want anyone hurt. It's not that I'm crazy. Then lower the gun.
Long, heavy, holding the entire chamber in its grip. Slowly, painfully, Reed lowers the weapon until it points at the ground. Declan's stance untenses slightly. Morag steps closer.
Declan, I'm here. I never stopped looking for you.
His visor tilts. His breath rattles once inside the suit. Erin sees it. Recognition. Faint. Faded. But there. His sister. His anchor. Morag reaches toward him with shaking fingers.
Slow, Morag. Slow.
I'm not touching you yet. I promise. Only when you want me to. Declan sways slightly, unsure, caught between old memories and years of conditioning. Gordon murmurs.
He remembers her. Jamie wipes tears from his face silently. He remembers all of this.
Fear, rage, control slipping from his grasp, all boiling over.
Declan, don't you dare! Don't you go to them!
The scream ricochets off steel, off concrete, off memory. Declan's entire body convulses. He whips toward the source of the noise. Alistair, the man who taught him sound equals danger. Morag cries out.
No. But Alistair, snarling, grabs a chunk of concrete and raises it like a weapon. You belong to me.
Not with intention, not with violence, with fear. He lunges, a desperate, reflexive movement, not to attack, but to stop the sound, to silence the pain. Erin throws herself sideways. Morag screams. Jamie recoils. Reed raises the gun instinctively.
Reed, don't.
Declan's gloved hand slams into Alistair's arm, knocking the concrete free. It skitters across the floor. Alistair stumbles backward, straight toward the unstable slab near the collapsed wall. The same slab that once crushed 3 men. It shifts, groans, then begins to fall, right toward Alistair. Erin shouts.
Declan, move!
The slab crashes down. Dust erupts. Steel screams. Darkness swallows the far corner of the chamber. When it clears, Alistair Gibb is gone, and Declan Sinclair stands frozen before the wreckage, shaking, breath rasping inside the suit. One gloved hand bruised from trying and failing to stop it. Chapter 15, After the Dust Settles. The dust hung in the air like a second fog, thick and choking in the beam of Erin's torch. Concrete particles drifted in slow motion, settling over the twisted metal and jagged stone where Alistair had stood moments before. No movement came from beneath the fallen slab. None. Jamie covered his face with both hands, gagging. Morag stood rooted to the spot, hands to her mouth, eyes wide with horror. Gordon's shoulders collapsed as if a weight years in the making had finally broken him. Declan did not move. He stood with one arm outstretched toward the wreckage, frozen in the exact posture he'd been in when he tried to stop the collapse. A child's instinct to help, trapped in a grown man's broken body.
Declan. 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 Declan.
Declan.
Declan. Declan.
Carefully, slowly. No sudden sounds, her boots crunch lightly over broken stone. Declan flinches, a small pained recoil, as if the world itself had become too loud. Morag found her voice, thin and trembling.
He didn't mean to hurt him. He never meant to hurt anyone. He reacted. The noise. Alistair screaming. Any man would have flinched.
He was shaking, not out of rage, exhaustion, trauma. The overwhelm of sound, motion, memory, and terror. She raised her hands slowly, palms open.
Declan, it's over. You don't have to run. You don't have to follow anyone's voice anymore.
A small, wounded animal sound escapes him. Not a word, not a cry, but a noise that carries decades of hurt inside it. Morag inches forward.
It's me, Morag, your sister. You're not trapped anymore. You're not locked in the dark.
Slow, hesitant, but not afraid. This time he takes a step, then another. The suit scrapes softly. Morag stops breathing altogether as he closes the space between them. His visor reflects her trembling face. Her hands hover in the air. Shaking, terrified she'll frighten him, terrified she won't.
Declan, can I touch you?
Declan tilts his helmet a fraction, a gesture barely there, but enough. Permission. Morag sobs and reaches out, placing both hands on the sides of his helmet, gentle, cradling him like something precious. Declan leans forward, pressing his forehead to hers, visor or not. A broken embrace. 40 years stolen. 40 years reclaimed in a second. Jamie breaks down completely.
He remembered her. He really remembered her. Of course he did.
The mood shifts.
Everyone step back. The area near the collapse is unstable.
Erin looks at him sharply. Her heart is still in the moment with Declan and Morag, but reality intrudes. The chamber is cracked, groaning, dangerous.
We move carefully, no loud sounds, and no sudden movements around Declan.
Understood. He's changed. The gun is holstered. His eyes are softer, guilt crowding the edges of his expression. Reed clears his throat.
MacLeod, I'm sorry. I didn't understand. None of us did. Morag gently guides Declan toward the clearer ground. He moves slowly, like a man learning to walk again. His hand brushes the wall for balance. Then something catches Erin's eye. A metal door, half buried in rubble. Old, reinforced. What's that? That was sealed after the collapse. We were told it led nowhere. You were lied to.
Vents. Bolts. A faint stale draft slipping through the edges. Jamie kneels beside her, wiping dust from the surface.
This door wasn't meant to be found. Morag looks up sharply, still holding Declan's arm. Why? What's behind it? Erin shines her torch on the rusted plate above the handle. The words are almost gone, but not enough. Auxiliary bunker. Restricted. That's where the bodies were supposed to be. A fresh chill ripples through the room. You mean the ones they claimed to recover? They never did recover them.
Are you telling me there are human remains in there?
And records and evidence the council buried. Morag presses a hand to her mouth. This is what Fraser was trying to cover.
She feels the shape of the truth now, the full truth like a cold weight pressing from the walls themselves. This wasn't just negligence. This was decades of lies stitched into the city's foundation. Evidence sealed away, survivors hidden, tragedy rewritten. The reflective suit, the conditioning, the tunnels, all built on secrets stacked so deeply the surface was bound to crack. Declan reaches toward the door, his glove trembling, as if remembering. Jamie shakes his head.
No, not again. Please, don't make him remember that place. He already does.
This door is the truth. If we don't open it, the city will bury this again. Morag wipes her tears, resolve hardening.
Then open it.
And grits the wheel handle of the auxiliary bunker. It's stiff, cold, unmoved in decades. She forces it. Metal screams. Dust rains down. Reed raises a hand to shield his eyes. Gordon's breath catches in his throat. And behind her, Declan lets out a tiny, soft sound. Not pain, not fear, something closer to relief. The wheel turns, the lot cracks, the bunker groans open. And what lies inside changes everything. Chapter 16. The room that should have stayed sealed. The auxiliary bunker door groaned open with a grinding wail that reverberated through the chamber like a trapped scream, escaping after decades. Dust billowed outward in a thick wave, swallowing the beam of Erin's torch and coating her throat with the stale, metallic taste of old air. The smell was the first thing that hit them. Not rot, that had faded long ago, but a dense, dry mustiness, like old paper sealed inside a coffin. Erin stepped inside first. She felt the temperature dip as, though the room had been holding its cold, tightly for 40 years. Morag followed, one hand clutching Declan's arm gently, guiding him. Reed and Gordon stayed close. Jamie hesitated at the threshold, then forced himself across it. Torch beams swept across the darkness, revealing everything. Metal bunk frames lined the left wall, collapsed and rusted. A narrow desk sat crooked near the center. Papers fused together with damp. A map board hung askew, its surface blistered and peeling. And on the right, 3 heavy, sealed body bags, black, thick, marked with old yellow tags as brittle as leaves. Morag stopped breathing.
These are the men who died. The ones they told us were recovered.
Her torch beam catches something on the floor beneath it, a notebook. Soggy, warped but intact enough to read the label. Declan Sinclair, personal log, 1983. Morag shudders violently. Jamie clasps both hands over his mouth.
He kept a diary. We all did. They told us to. Said if anything happened, they'd know where to find us. We believed them.
The first page breaks apart at her touch, but deeper in, pages survive. Scrawled handwriting, shaky lines, sentences trailing off mid-thought. But one line repeats across multiple pages, again and again, ink pressed so hard it almost tore the paper. They're not coming. Morag makes a small wounded sound, half sob, half breath.
He knew they weren't coming.
5 entries down, a different handwriting, sharper, neater. Jamie whispers hoarsely.
That's Alistair's.
A short message, written without hesitation. We have one chance to survive. Not all of us will make it. Gordon closes his eyes, jaw trembling.
He wanted to ration air. He said Declan breathed too loudly. He wasn't right after the roof came down.
A third handwriting appears, barely legible, scratched like claws. Let him stop breathing, then we live. Morag flinches backward in horror.
No! No!
That was Alistair at his worst.
He snapped. He saw Declan as the reason we'd die. Jamie's voice cracks. You tried to kill him, even down here.
He stands very still, facing the bags, facing the diary, facing the remnants of the world that forged him. His visor drops toward the pages as though his body remembers the shape of those words even if his mind cannot. Morag touches his arm gently.
You survived. You survived all of this.
A tiny inhale, a tremble, not confusion, recognition, pain.
He remembers more than he shows.
He notices something else, tucked behind the desk, under a fallen beam. A metal case, government issue. Locked, sealed with lead.
What the hell is that? Records, all the collapse logs, the missing tapes, the intake sheets, everything Fraser wanted, buried.
So this is what he died for. He pries the case open with a grunt and his pocket knife. Inside, reels of tape, cassette logs, photos, blueprints, a binder thick with typed reports that contradict every official statement the council ever made. Jamie's hands shake violently.
There's enough in there to bring down half the city government. And enough to give the Sinclair family the truth they were denied.
You hear that? We're going to clear your name. All of you. Declan's breathing softens. A slow, trembling exhale. Then the bunker lights flicker. All at once. Then go out. Total darkness. Someone gasps. Jamie stumbles. Morag clutches Declan. Gordon curses under his breath. Reed's voice snaps through the black.
Everyone stay still. Nobody move.
It's just the emergency bulb dying. The power's decades old. Torches on. Beams click on one by one, cutting ragged holes in the dark. Then Erin notices something that sends ice through her veins. The dust in the corridor is disturbed. Not recently, not subtly. Recently enough that it wasn't like this when they entered. Footprints, fresh ones, not theirs, leading away from the bunker door.
Someone else was down here.
Who? Toward the direction Alistair had been heading before the collapse, toward the far forgotten east access. The footprints vanish into the dark. Jamie whispers the thing Erin already knows.
Then Alistair didn't come alone.
And whoever he brought is still down here, watching, waiting, hidden in the maze beneath Aberdeen. Chapter 17, The Second Shadow. The corridor outside the bunker swallowed the torchlight like a throat. Dust still floated lazily in the beam, displaced only moments ago, disturbed by footsteps that did not belong to any of them. Fresh footprints, leading away. Erin's pulse hammered in her ears. Morag pressed close to Declan, her hand gripping the sleeve of his reflective suit as though he might vanish again into the dark at any moment. Gordon hovered behind them, jaw tight. Reed kept his torch up, gun holstered, but hand hovering near it. Jamie whispered prayers under his breath.
Everyone stay together. Nobody makes a sound above a whisper.
Even whispers vibrated in his visor like memory. But he didn't retreat. He didn't flinch. He held Morag's sleeve and followed. Reed crouched by the dust trail.
These prints, smaller than Alistair's, lighter, and close, very close. He was right behind us. He watched us open the bunker.
The prints were heading east, toward an old maintenance tunnel Jamie had mentioned earlier, one that was supposed to be blocked.
Jamie, what's through there? Jamie swallows hard. Nothing. It was sealed after the collapse, full of gas leaks and broken timbers. Unless someone reopened it.
We follow, carefully, the forgotten passage. The corridor narrowed to a throat of rusted pipework and buckled concrete. Old hazard signs flaked off the walls. The air thinned, colder and metallic. Declan slowed. His breathing grew louder inside the suit, not panicked, but alert, like he recognized this route. Morag noticed.
You've been this way before. Declan tilts his helmet, the cracked visor catching Erin's torchlight. A memory, a direction.
He knows this place better than anyone alive. Beams twisted like broken ribs. Water dripped from exposed pipes into pools that glimmered faintly. Jamie kneels, studying the ground.
He went through here. There's a tight gap. Look, dot.
A crawl space no wider than a man's shoulders opens beneath a fallen concrete slab. Freshly disturbed dust, handprints, scrape marks showing where someone squeezed through. Erin angles her torch inside. The light catches something metallic, a tool, a crowbar, but not Alistair's. New, clean, modern.
That's not 40 years old. Gordon's eyes widen in dread.
He had help. Someone modern. Someone who knew the tunnels weren't empty. Morag's voice trembles.
Why would anyone help Alistair? Why now? Erin answers before she can stop herself. He wasn't trying to cover up the collapse. He was trying to expose it, and someone else wanted the truth weaponized.
MacLeod, what are you saying?
Alistair wasn't working alone. He was used, just like Declan.
Declan reacts instantly, his head snapping toward the sound, body leaning forward. Morag grips him gently.
No, slow down, sweetheart. Slow. Erin studies the opening. I'm going through. Reed raises a hand. No, I go first. It's too tight for maneuver, if someone's armed. Your gunshot will set Declan off. I won't fire, unless I have to. You won't fire at all.
Reed meets her eyes, realizes she's right, slowly unclips his holster and hands her the gun. He doesn't like it, but he trusts her. Reed crawls into the gap first, torch held ahead. Erin follows, Gordon next, Jamie, Morag. Declan last, only barely able to squeeze through, the reflective suit scraping stone. Their bodies pressed to the cold floor. Breath echoes off stone. The world shrinks. Then, a second clang. Closer. Reed whispers sharply.
Someone ahead, maybe 20 meters.
At the end of the tight passage, the space opens into a wider tunnel. A figure stands silhouetted in the light. Not Alistair. Smaller, younger, still as a statue. Erin feels her stomach drop, because the voice that comes next is familiar. Very familiar.
You shouldn't have opened that door, Detective. This was supposed to die underground.
Morag gasps. Gordon whispers a name like a curse.
No, it can't be. You. The councillor Douglas Fraser, the daughter of the man who died, standing in the dark, holding a modern toolkit and a flashlight dipped in blood.
The accomplice wasn't a stranger. It was someone with everything to lose if the truth ever reached daylight. Chapter 18, The Daughter of the Collapse. Ailey Fraser stood in the center of the narrow tunnel, her torch casting a harsh white circle around her boots. Dust drifted lazily through the beam. Behind her, deeper in the dark, something dripped slowly, a rhythmic pattering like a leaking artery in stone. Her face was pale, jaw clenched tight, eyes hollow with exhaustion and something harder. Conviction. Maybe hatred. Reed froze mid-crawl, half out of the gap. Erin's breath caught. Gordon swore under his breath. Jamie clutched the wall, shaking. Morag shielded Declan instinctively as though protecting him from a ghost.
Ailey, what have you done? I did what my father couldn't. I protected our city.
The air down here was colder than any section they'd passed. Older. Like the tunnel remembered violence. Declan's visor caught the reflection of Eileen's torch. He stiffened.
It's okay, sweetheart. Stay with me. Stay quiet. That thing shouldn't be alive. He's a man. He's a survivor. He's an anchor to a past that should have stayed sealed. My father understood that. He knew the tunnels were a grave. He knew what the city did to hide it.
This wasn't madness. This was belief sharpened into violence.
You helped Alistair escape detection for decades. He didn't hide from the city. The city hid from him. Same as Declan.
Dust falls from his jacket. His voice is steady, but there's disbelief under it.
You murdered a councillor. You tampered with city records. You sheltered a violent fugitive. Violent? Alistair was loyal. He understood that the truth would destroy us. What truth? The truth that my father helped seal those men underground, that the collapse wasn't an accident, that decisions were made, that Declan and the others weren't rescued because it was politically easier to let them die down there.
Morag's knees buckle, but Declan steadies her without understanding what he's done. Gordon closes his eyes, torn open again by the memory.
So you decided to finish the job. Ailey's jaw tightens.
The past had to stay buried.
Fraser McBrain knew that. He was willing to cooperate until your journalist friend dug too deep.
You killed him! Ailey doesn't blink.
He forced my hand. He came down here alone, thinking he could expose everything. He threatened to go public. He threatened everything my father built. He came to help. He came to uncover the truth, to free Declan. And that's exactly why he had to die.
He staggers, hands rising to his helmet. The shouting, sharp, violent, tears through him like a blade. Morag grabs him tightly.
Declan, stay with me. Don't react. Don't. But Declan's breath quickens. The suit trembles. He's being dragged toward instinct, toward sound. Erin steps between him and Eiley. Ailey, lower your voice. Why? He only understands noise. He understands fear. You're giving him exactly what you want to trigger.
You think I'm afraid of him? Of a broken man walking around in reflective scraps?
You should be. You made him like this. No, the city did. My father did. But the city moved on. And men like you couldn't accept that the dead stay dead.
Ailey isn't just covering up her father's crimes. She's preserving a legacy, a myth, a lie, and she's willing to kill for it.
You're not walking out of here. Neither are you.
A sound, soft metal scraping fabric. Reed tenses.
Ailey, don't. You think I'd crawl into this grave unarmed?
Not a bomb. Not exactly, but enough.
Oh my God, that's compressed acetylene. Then she'll collapse the whole tunnel. That's the idea.
His visor snaps toward the cylinder, the hiss of leaking gas slicing through his senses like a scream. He steps forward, not controlled, not gentle, instinct awakening. Morag grips him harder.
Declan, no! But Eiley steps backward into the dark. Some things are better buried with their ghosts.
Then she vanishes into the shadows, and the gas cylinder hits the floor with a dull, deadly clatter. Declan lurches toward the sound. Reed shouts. Gordon grabs Jamie. Morag screams. Erin dives forward, and the tunnel erupts in the hiss of accelerating pressure. The fuse has been lit. Chapter 19, The Hiss Before the Fire. The hiss filled the tunnel like a living thing. Sharp, rising, frantic. Compressed acetylene, a valve half-cracked open. Gas leaking into an enclosed space that had already tasted tragedy once. Erin's instincts fired all at once. She threw herself toward the cylinder, sliding across the grit-slick floor.
Nobody make a spark.
Not off, just away, far from the ground. Jamie scrambles backward, tripping over loose stone. Gordon drags him upright. Morag tightens both arms around Declan, clinging as his suit trembles with rising panic. Declan's visor reflects every tiny movement, hyper-attuned to the hiss, to the fear, to the pressure in the air. The gas plume grows denser. The air becomes metallic, tighter, hungrier. Erin reaches the cylinder. Her fingers find the valve. It's twisted halfway open. She tries to force it closed. It doesn't budge.
This valve's jammed. She cracked it on purpose. It'll blow if it hits a spark, a torch filament, a phone battery, anything. We have to get out. We have to. Declan reacts instantly to Jamie's raised voice. He jerks, lunging toward him in fear. Morag clings to him, whispering frantically. Declan, sweetheart, quiet, quiet. Listen to me. Listen only to me.
A trembling statue, caught between fear and the one voice he trusts. Reed crouches near Erin.
Can you shut it? Not with bare hands. We need leverage. A tool. Jimmy pats himself down desperately. I don't have anything metal. Nothing that won't spark. Erin's mind races. A tool, non-metallic, strong. Her eyes flick to the side of Declan's reflective suit. The reinforced composite elbow plates. Morag, Declan's arm. I need it. Morag looks startled but nods, guiding Declan gently. Declan, help her, please.
The composite material is rigid, non-sparking. It might work.
Declan, push, slowly. Here. She places her hand on his, guiding the pressure. Declan obeys, not understanding. But trusting her voice, the valve groans. Gas hisses louder, flaring. Jamie squeaks in terror. It's going to blow. Declan flinches, hand slipping. Erin grabs his wrist with both hands. Declan, look at me. Only me.
The visor tilts toward her. Recognition, fragile but real. Together, they push. The valve shrieks, then turns, then snaps shut. The hiss stops. Instantly, the tunnel falls into strangled silence, broken only by ragged breathing. Jamie collapses to his knees. Gordon lets out a shuddering exhale. Reed slumps against a support beam, sweat dripping from his temple. Morag hugs Declan's arm tightly, forehead pressed to the suit's battered plating.
You saved us. You saved us again.
Not yet, because the darkness still stretches east and Ely Fraser vanished into it with purpose.
We move. Now. Before she triggers something else. Reed nods, rallying. She can't be far. These tunnels don't run much deeper without dead ends. She knows them better than you think. Alistair taught her. Maybe more. What if she's setting another trap? Then we spring it on our terms, not hers. The chase through dead air.
They move through the narrow tunnel, torches pointed low. Dust rises with every step. Declan stays close to Morag, his steps heavy but controlled, guided by her whispers. Then, a faint echo, footsteps, light, retreating. Reed raises his torch beam.
She's running! Go, quietly. They sprint, as quietly as possible, boots sliding over uneven stone, torches cutting jagged arcs. The tunnel twists sharply. And then, Jamie stops so suddenly, Gordon nearly slams into him. Oh God.
Ahead, the tunnel widens into a service chamber, and dangling from the overhead pipes is something that freezes Erin's blood. A makeshift trip line, connected to a striker. The striker connected to a spark wheel. The spark wheel aimed directly at a second acetylene canister. This one fully open. Eilead set a trap. One trip of the wire and the spark would ignite the entire chamber, incinerating everyone inside. Reed whispers.
She's trying to bury us, all of us. She wants the truth dead, same as her father.
Declan, I need you. Morag turns him gently.
She needs your quiet step, your careful hands, like before. Declan tilts his head. He steps forward. He approaches the trip line, like a man walking through memory. Every motion careful, slow, precise. He kneels, touches the wire, studies it. Then he pinches it between two glove plates and lifts it a millimeter. Just enough. Erin slides under, holding her breath. Then Reed. Then Morag. Then Jamie, crying silent tears. Gordon last. Declan releases the wire gently. It hums back into place without triggering.
Ailey is about 50 meters ahead. We're close. A voice echoes from the dark ahead. Cold, clear, final.
You won't make it out. I'll bury this place with you inside.
Ailey wasn't panicking. She was committed. Reed straightens, fury sharpening his words.
Ailey, stop!
The echo of the shout slams into him. He lurches forward, staggering toward Reed, confusion spiking. Morag grabs him, voice strangled.
Declan, no! Quiet, quiet!
Reed's shout will have given their exact location to Ailey, and in these tunnels that meant one thing. She would trigger the collapse.
We have to move, just as she says it. A deep rumble vibrates the floor. Dust pours from the ceiling. Stone groans. Jamie screams. A section of the tunnel roof ahead begins to buckle. Ailey's voice echoes one last time. I warned you.
Down, move! The world collapses. Stone, steel, dust, darkness, a shockwave tears through the tunnel. The lights blow out, and Chapter 19 ends in total, breathless black. Chapter 20, buried voices. When the collapse hit, the world became dust and violence. Stone shrieked, steel bent, air punched from lungs. Then everything stopped. Silence, a crushing, absolute silence. Erin opened her eyes into darkness so thick it felt like a second skin. Her ears rang, her chest burned. Her torch was gone. For a moment, she wondered if she'd been deafened or buried alive. Then a small sound pierced the dark.
Erin?
Her palms scrape over rubble. Her fingers find her torch, cracked but still functional. She clicks it. A narrow cone of light slices through the dust cloud. Shapes emerge. Morag, hunched, coughing. Jamie curled against a wall, shaking, but alive. Gordon sprawled across fallen stone, dazed. Reed on one knee, shoulder bleeding from a glancing impact. And Declan. Declan is motionless, half buried under a tangle of concrete fragments and twisted pipe. Not crushed, but trapped, the weight pinning his reflective suit to the ground. Morag gasps.
Declan, Declan! Erin grabs her arm gently. Morag, slow, he's conscious.
A faint reflection moves behind the cracked screen. Breathing. Alive. Morag collapses to her knees beside him, touching the side of his helmet with both shaking hands.
You're okay. We're here, sweetheart. Declan's breathing grows steadier at her voice. Reed presses a hand to his shoulder wound, wincing. We need to move. This section could fall again. And Ailey, she's still ahead somewhere. She caused this. She's trying to bury us like they buried them.
Jamie wipes tears from his dusty face, trembling violently.
I don't want to die down here. You're not going to. We're getting out.
The tunnel is half blocked, a jagged curtain of stone and rebar. Barely enough space to crawl under at one side. A tight squeeze, but possible. But Declan, he can't crawl. Not pinned, not in the bulky suit. Morag looks at Erin, terrified.
We can't leave him. We can't. Erin shakes her head. We aren't leaving anyone.
It's long, thick, and surprisingly light. Some kind of hollow ventilation conduit. A lever. A chance.
Declan, we're going to lift this off you, but you have to stay still. No sudden movements. Just breathe. Declan's visor tilts toward her voice. He obeys. Erin braces the pipe under the largest slab pinning him, wedges it against a rubble pile, and signals to Gordon and Reed. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Muscles strain. Stone shifts. Dust billows. The slab rises an inch. 2, enough for Declan to slide his leg free. Morag whispers encouragement through tears.
That's it. You're doing so well. Just a little more. They reposition. Lift again. Declan pulls his torso out, scraping the suit against broken concrete. Finally, he's free. He collapses forward into Morag's arms. Jamie sobs with relief. Gordon wipes his face. Reed winces again, gripping his shoulder.
A gap maybe 2 feet high, barely enough space for a person to worm through on their belly. Past that lies darkness, and beyond that, Ailey Fraser.
We move. Quiet. No one loses sight of anyone. What about Declan? He'll never fit under that gap. Erin runs her torch along the wall. There, a maintenance access hatch half buried by debris, large enough for Declan if cleared. We dig out the hatch. He goes through there. We meet on the other side. Split up? Down here? It links to the same passage. It's safer than forcing him under that gap. Trust me. Jamie reluctantly nods. Morag touches Declan's gloves, whispering reassurance. He stays close, breathing slow, trying to understand. Erin turns to Reed. She's ahead, setting traps, maybe worse. She's desperate. That makes her dangerous. Desperate people end cities.
Ailey Fraser had nothing left to lose. Her father's legacy was ash, her crimes exposed, the tunnels alive with ghosts she tried to suffocate. Jamie crouches, clearing debris from the maintenance hatch now visible on the wall. Declan kneels beside him, helping, one slow piece at a time, careful, quiet. Morag smiles through tears.
He's remembering how to help.
Yeah, she whispers. He is. Reed points his torch at the crawl space beneath the collapse.
MacLeod, you're first. Let's finish this.
The stone is cold beneath her palms. The air is thin. Dust swirls with every breath. She slides into the tight, suffocating tunnel, 1 inch at a time, torch held forward, heart pounding steady. Behind her, the others watch. Ahead of her, somewhere in the dark, Ailey Fraser waits with the fury of 40 years of buried secrets. Erin whispers into the darkness.
I'm coming for you.
And the tunnel swallows her whole. Chapter 21, The Edge of the Quiet. The squeezed tunnel pressed around Erin like a vice. No room to stand, no room to turn, just a slow inching forward over gritty stone. Torch gripped between her teeth, dust falling like dry snow with every shift. The air tasted of stale concrete and something else. Burned wiring, a warning. Behind her, distant voices echoed faintly. Morag murmuring to Declan, Jamie clearing debris, Reed giving low instructions. But ahead, only silence. A silence too deliberate.
She's close, watching, waiting.
Finally, the crawl space widened into a low arched tunnel. Old brickwork cracked and sweating moisture. Enough space to crouch. She slid out of the gap and rose slowly. Every muscle in her body hummed. A faint flicker pulsed in the distance, a flashlight beam bouncing off wet stone. Ailey Fraser was close. Erin moved forward on soft steps. The Whisper Tunnel. This section of the labyrinth earned its nickname decades ago, Whisper Tunnel. A place where sound echoed strangely, bending, doubling, appearing behind you even when spoken ahead. A dangerous place for Declan, a dangerous place for anyone. Erin steadied her breathing. A faint clatter rang out to her left. She froze. The sound repeated, but from the right, then behind. Ailey was playing with the acoustics, using them, weaponizing them.
Ailey, it's over. Her voice bounced, returning warped and softer. No, it's only beginning.
A shadow flicked across the far end of the tunnel, then vanished. Another clatter, metal on stone. Then a soft click. Erin's blood chilled. She knew that click. A lighter. Being tested.
Ailey, don't you dare. There's enough gas trapped in these old vents to finish what the city started.
Think about Declan. Think about what these tunnels did to him.
I am. He's living proof of the city's guilt, and guilt must be purged. The flash of the torch.
Ailey's figure appears at the far end of the tunnel, silhouetted against an old maintenance light she must have reconnected. Hair wild, face streaked with dust, holding something metallic in one hand, a lighter, a big one, industrial, windproof.
You keep talking like you understand any of this, but you weren't here when the city chose convenience over lives. And neither were you. You learned about it from files and broken men. You absorbed their pain, but never carried it.
A hit. A truth.
Alistair fed you his version. And you latched onto it, because it gave you purpose. But you weren't trapped here. Declan was. Gordon was. Your father chose to let those men fall. He didn't have a choice. He did. He made it. And you've been killing to protect a lie.
Shut up. The lighter clicks open. A flame dances. Erin tenses.
Illy, you'll kill yourself. That's the point.
This wasn't just destruction. It was martyrdom. A martyrdom built on the wrong story.
Your father wasn't a hero. He buried people. He let Declan rot. And you want to join him?
Ailey's face trembles. Anger, grief, devotion, all warring. For the first time, she falters.
I just want the truth to stay down here, where it belongs.
The truth belongs to the living. A scream echoes behind her. Morag's voice.
Erin, Declan's following you.
She sees Declan emerging from the crawl space, guided by Morag's frantic hands, his visor twitching, head snapping toward the loud voices bouncing through the whisper tunnel. He is being overwhelmed. His body stiffens. He looks from Morag to Erin to Eiley, trapped in a storm of sound. Eiley turns, eyes widening at the sight of him.
You shouldn't exist. Declan flinches. The flame flickers. Erin feels everything collapse into one single choice. Erin moves.
Erin lunges forward, not toward Eiley, toward Declan.
Declan, look at me.
Declan's visor snaps toward Erin's face. Her voice, soft, low, controlled, cuts through the chaos. She holds out her hands.
Stay with me. Stay quiet. No sudden moves. His breathing steadies. Behind him, Morag whispers reassurance, but the lighter flame still burns. Eiley steps backward, toward a vent grill trembling with trapped gas. Reed's voice echoes from behind Erin.
MacLeod, don't let her.
The acoustics warp his shout. It ricochets around the chamber. Declan convulses at the noise. Eiley's thumb twitches. The flame grows. Everything collapses into a single second.
Erin leaps. Declan moves. Morag screams. Ailey's lighter tilts. And Chapter 21 ends with the flame falling toward the gas vent. Chapter 22, when the dark catches fire. The lighter falls, a perfect arc of bright flame cutting through the stale underground air, tumbling end over end toward the trembling vent grill where acetylene gas waits like a sleeping dragon. 1 second becomes a lifetime. Erin moves first. Declan moves faster. Morag screams. Reed reaches for his radio instead of his gun. Ailey watches with a strange, peaceful surrender. Then, contact. The flame touches the steel. A white-hot flash rips through the tunnel. Not a full detonation, but a concussive whump that hurls air like a giant's fist. Light, heat, noise. Rubble blasts sideways. Dust becomes a storm. Stone cracks. Metal screams. Erin's feet leave the ground. She hits the floor hard. The world spins. Her torch flies from her hand and vanishes into the dark. A ringing overwhelms her hearing. A high metallic whine. Everything feels distant, slow, underwater. Shapes move in the haze. The aftershock silence. Erin coughs, tasting burnt concrete. Voices exist, but far away. Gordon yelling. Jamie sobbing. Reed coughing blood. Morag shouting Declan's name. Ailey moaning somewhere in the dark. But it all sounds like it's happening down a long corridor. And then, a hand touches Erin's back. Heavy, clumsy, careful. Declan. He stands above her, visor cracked, suit dented, chest heaving like he ran the breadth of Aberdeen. Dust still drifts from him like smoke. He didn't fall. He didn't break. He shielded her. Morag runs to them and throws her arms around his waist, sobbing into the battered suit.
You saved her. You saved all of us. Declan's head tilts slightly, a tiny, confused, relieved movement. Erin pushes herself up, wincing. Her voice is hoarse but gentle.
Thank you, Declan. As close to recognition as he can manage. The wounded and the dangerous Reed staggers into view, shoulder bleeding, face pale.
Roll call. Is everyone? Jamie raises a shaking hand. Gordon nods weakly. Morag clings to Declan. Then another sound.
Why? Why didn't you let it end? She scans until the beam falls on Ailey. She's on her side, legs cut, hair burned at the edges. Still alive. Barely. Erin moves toward her slowly.
Don't try to get up. You're hurt. Ailey spits dust. eyes wild. You ruined it. All of it. My father died for this city. He died because of what he did to us.
Shut up. The scream hits him like a physical strike. He takes a step backward, trembling. Morag grabs his arms, whispering frantically.
You're okay. Don't listen. Stay with me. Erin steps between Eilidh and Declan. No more shouting. You're done, Eilidh sneers. You think you've won? East tunnels still hold everything. Even if I die, the truth dies with me. Erin crouches in front of her. Eilidh, the truth walked out of those tunnels 40 years ago wearing a reflective suit. You didn't kill it then. You won't kill it now.
Something inside her breaks. Grief, rage, legacy, guilt, all unwinding at once. She whispers.
You wasn't supposed to live, Morag snaps. But he did, and Declan, hearing her voice, soft, steady, certain, calms again. The structural threat. The ceiling above them groans. Dust trickles down. Cracks, spiderweb across the arch. Jamie's voice hits a high pitch. The explosion destabilized everything. This whole tunnel could come down. Reed checks his radio. Signal's dead. We're too far in. There's only one way out now. Through the east maintenance shaft. The same way Eilidh fled. Erin turns to Morag. Can Declan walk? Morag nods quickly. Yes, just keep voices calm. No shouting.
And her? Reed holsters his radio and kneels beside Eilidh.
She's coming out. Alive. To answer for this. Eilidh flinches, but her fight is gone. Gordon spits on the ground. And she'll face every family she tried to silence. The final push.
Torchlight glances off Declan's battered visor as he straightens. Slow, steady, towering. Morag takes his hand. Jamie steadies Gordon. Reed hauls Eilidh to her feet. Erin raises her torch toward the darkened east corridor. Ahead lies the final stretch, narrow, broken, ready to collapse with one wrong move.
Everyone stay close. No loud voices. No sudden sound.
Let's finish this. They move as one, through dust, through broken stone, toward the last danger Aberdeen's underworld has left to throw at them. But before they go, Erin glances back at the ruined vent, the charred stone, and Declan standing like a ghost reborn.
You didn't break.
And in the quiet, Declan takes one slow, steady breath, the first breath of a man stepping out of darkness for the last time. Chapter 23, The Last Narrow Path. The east maintenance corridor was a scar through the earth, narrow, cracked, sloping downward before it rose again toward a faint glimmer of fresher air. Erin led the way, torch held low, dust swirling with every step. Behind her, Morag guiding Declan, Gordon supporting Jamie, Reed half-dragging, half-holding Eilidh upright. Every footfall felt like it might be the one that brought the tunnel down.
Slow and steady. Watch the ceiling. Keep sound low.
A miracle after years of twitch response to noise. But Morag's voice holds him like a tether.
That's it. You're doing fine. Nearly there. Eilidh stumbles. You're wasting your breath. None of us will see daylight. Reed tightens his grip. You see a prison cell. That's enough daylight for you. Eilidh laughs. A broken, cracked sound. Declan flinches. Morag places her hand over the visor quickly. No, don't listen to her.
The corridor bends sharply. Something glints on the floor. Erin crouches. A wire, stretched taut across the floor, connected to
another trap. You said all this before meeting us. She expected us to chase her. Jamie trembles behind him. Can we get past it? Erin examines the wire. It's not connected to gas this time. It's wired to a drop plate in the ceiling. She aims her torch upward. Loose stone. A slab large enough to crush 3 people. Jamie's voice cracks. She wants the tunnels to finish the job for her. Erin gently lifts the wire and tucks it harmlessly under a rock. Step over it, one at a time. They do, slow, silent. Declan steps over last, carefully, guided by Morag, his heavy boot missing the trip line by millimeters. The rise toward air.
The tunnel grows steeper. Air moves faintly, a promise of surface, but the walls tighten, closing in around them like clenched fists. Eilidh speaks again, this time quieter, something more fragile.
You think saving him fixes anything? You think Aberdeen will accept what he is? What he became in the dark? Morag stops dead. He became what your father left him to be, but he is still my brother. Declan shifts, a small tilt of the helmet, recognizing her anger, her love. Ely's lip curls. He's a living reminder of a crime the city can't face. And you drag him into the sun like some miracle. Erin steps sharply toward her. He is a miracle. And you tried to kill him because you couldn't face the truth.
Truth? She spits. The truth is that this city is built on denial. People want heroes, not mistakes. My father was a hero in their eyes.
He was a coward. Ely lunges at him. Reed yanks her back. One more move and you're going out unconscious.
Enough. We deal with the legacy above ground. Right now, we focus on getting out alive. Jamie nods repeatedly, shaking.
I hear air. Fresh air. Up ahead. He's right. A draft brushes their faces. Hope rises in the dark. The final obstacle.
A steep incline covered in loose grit climbs toward a narrow vertical shaft, the original east inspection exit. A rusted ladder leads upward into faint moonlight. Erin feels relief flood her chest. They're close. Too close for Ailey's liking. Ailey snarls.
You don't understand. If he walks out of here, the city will burn with shame. Erin ignores her and checks the shaft. It's intact, stable, a way out. Right, we move Declan up last. Keep sounds minimal. Erin signals Jamie. You first. Go slow. Jamie climbs, Gordon after him. Reed follows with Ailey in tow. Now only Erin, Morag, and Declan remain. Erin, he'll fit, but he might be scared. The ladder is narrow. I'll guide him, step by step. She tests the ladder's first rung. It holds. She turns to Declan. Her voice falls into the low, controlled cadence she has learned stabilizes him. Declan, we're going up. It's safe. Morag and I will be with you.
A small, heavy movement. He trusts her. He trusts two voices now. Erin begins the climb. Morag helps Declan place one boot on the first rung. Then a noise behind them. A stone, a drip, a shift. No, a footstep, slow, soft, behind them. Erin freezes on the ladder. Morag's breath hitches. Declan turns trembling. Ailey is not behind them. Reed has her above. So who? Then a voice emerges from the dark behind the rubble. Low, rasped, wet.
Help! Erin's heart slams. Morag gasps. Jamie's shout echoes faintly down the shaft. Something's moving down there, Reed shouts. MacLeod, move! Erin turns her torch downward, the beam slicing through dust, illuminating. A crushed hand, a sleeve, a face half covered in rubble. Alistair Gibb.
He's alive, barely. Broken, crushed, but alive. His eyes lock onto Declan.
Don't leave me, Declan. Help me. Declan staggers, torn by instinct, by memory, by fear. Morag grips him tightly. No, Declan, don't go. It's a trap. The rubble groans beneath Alistair's weight. He reaches out with one broken hand. Declan, please.
Oh, God. Declan steps forward. One step, two. Drawn not by sound, but by a memory deeper than conditioning. A memory of the only man he had beside him in the dark for 4 decades. Even if that man hurt him, used him, broke him. Something in Declan's trembling stance says he remembers and he forgives, or he can't let go. Morag sobs.
Declan, sweetheart, not him. Please. Erin climbs down a rung, voice sharp, urgent, fighting to reach him. Declan, look at me.
Caught between voices, between past and present, between pain and the only family he has left. Alistair's voice rasps like tearing cloth.
I kept you alive, didn't I? You owe me.
Declan steps toward the rubble. Erin's torch trembles. Morag breaks. Reed shouts from above. And Alistair's broken hand reaches, palm open, seconds from pulling Declan back into the dark forever. Chapter 24, A Hand in the Dark. The tunnel holds its breath. Dust drifts in silent curtains. Stone creaks overhead. A ladder leading to daylight waits, just steps away. And Declan stands between two worlds, Morag's trembling grip on his arm, Erin leaning from the ladder with fierce focus, and Alistair Gibb, broken, half-buried, dying, reaching from the rubble. His voice is a faint rasp through blood and dust.
Come on. Lad, help me up.
The twitch of his visor, the tremor in his gloves, the instinct that pulls him toward a voice, the same instinct someone exploited for 40 years. Morag pulls him gently, desperately.
Declan, look at me, not him. You don't owe him anything. Declan breathes, slow, tortured, uneven. Alistair coughs, spitting dust and blood. I kept you alive, fed you, kept you breathing. You owe me.
She moves carefully, low voice, no echo.
Declan, think. Morag is here. You found your way back because of her, not him. Alistair snarls, voice cracking. He'd have died without me. Morag's voice snaps like a whip. He died because of you.
Her shout ricochets through whisper tunnel. Declan recoils violently, hands rising to his helmet, body shaking. Erin grabs Morag's arm instantly.
Quiet, you'll overwhelm him. Morag slams a hand over her mouth, tears spilling. Alistair wheezes a laugh, a bitter, poisonous sound. He never belonged to you. He was mine, my shadow, my echo in the dark. Declan steps toward him. One step, another. Erin feels her stomach drop. Declan, stop.
He turns his visor toward Erin, not in fear, not confusion, but waiting. He trusts her voice. Erin breathes once, steadying herself.
You don't follow pain anymore. You don't follow the past. You follow the people who love you. Morag, your family. Morag steps forward, hands trembling. Come home with me, not with him. Declan tilts his helmet toward her voice, toward safety. The decision forms, slow, fragile, true. He turns his back on Alistair, completely.
No, don't you dare. He lunges or tries to. The rubble shifts, grinding under his weight. A slab of stone moves, cracks. Erin's heart jumps.
Don't move. The whole section's unstable. Alistair ignores her. Declan, come back. Come be. The rubble collapses. A final groan, a sharp crack, and the stone shifts downward in a slow, unstoppable slide. Morag covers Declan's visor. Jamie turns away, shaking. Gordon closes his eyes. Erin whispers, I'm sorry. The last of the rubble settles with a dull, final thud. Alistair Gibb is gone. The climb into light.
The tunnel exhales, a long, low release of trapped air. Erin lifts her torch.
Morag, take him. We're getting out. Declan places a hand on the ladder rung. Slow. Careful. Morag climbs beside him, whispering encouragement. Jamie reaches down from above, offering a shaking hand. Reed braces him. Gordon coughs and mutters a prayer. One by one, they climb. Dust falls from Declan's suit like rain as he rises toward the surface, toward moonlight, toward fresh air, toward home. Erin climbs last. As she reaches the top of the shaft, she sees Morag hugging Declan tightly, Jamie sobbing against a wall in relief. Gordon is staring up at the night sky like he's seeing it for the first time. Reed radioing for emergency teams, voice steady despite his injuries. Eiley sitting silently against the earth bank, staring at nothing. Erin steps out onto solid ground. The moon glows above Union Terrace Gardens. Sirens wail in the distance, growing closer.
It burns her lungs. It feels perfect. Reed approaches her.
MacLeod, you did it! Erin shakes her head. He did.
The cracked visor reflects the moonlight. He stands uncertainly, 40 years underground, one night back in the world. Morag squeezes his hand.
You're safe now. Erin steps toward him, voice gentle, steady. Welcome back, Declan.
He breathes, a slow, steady breath under open sky for the first time in 4 decades. And somewhere far below them, amid the rubble and forgotten tunnels, the past finally stays buried. Epilogue. Sky above, stone below. 3 months later, Aberdeen wakes to a soft, cold morning, the kind that smells faintly of sea salt and granite, carrying a promise of rain. Union Terrace Gardens sits in calm silence, a far cry from the chaos buried beneath it. Erin MacLeod stands by the railing, overlooking the newly cordoned excavation site. The tarpaulins flap softly in the wind. Engineers and forensic teams move like ghosts in white suits, combing through the reopened tunnels inch by inch. She's been here every day since the inquiry began, not out of obligation, out of respect. Footsteps crunch slowly behind her. Morag. She stands beside Erin, wrapped in a thick scarf, her face softer now, the raw grief replaced by something quieter. Hope. Pain. Both finding space together. Declan stands a few steps behind them. No reflective suit now. He wears a heavy coat, gloved hands clasped in front of him. His visor is gone, replaced by tinted glasses that protect his eyes from the brightness he's still adjusting to. A man reborn into a world he never expected to see again. His movements are slow, deliberate, cautious, but they're his own.
He slept through the night for the first time, didn't wake once. That's good. That's really good. Dot.
He still flinches at loud noises, but he's learning. We both are. Declan steps closer, stopping beside Morag. He looks at Erin with a small, careful tilt of his head, his way of acknowledging her.
Morning, Declan.
Progress. Slow, steady progress. A car door slams nearby. Reed approaches, uniform crisp, arm in a fresh sling.
I see you're all haunting the crime scene again. Force of habit. The inquiry's going public. They'll announce everything today. Morag stiffens. All of it? Reed nods. They're owning it. The deaths, the cover-up, the lies. Every name, every report. Your father's name will be cleared, Gordon's too. And Declan. He pauses. He'll be recognized as a survivor, not an embarrassment. Declan tilts his head again, listening, understanding fragments. A gull cries overhead, startling him. Morag squeezes his hand. It's okay. Just a bird. We talked about them, remember?
A sister rebuilding a life with someone who survived the impossible. Reed steps closer to Erin.
And Fraser's daughter? Erin sighs. Sentencing next week. Psych evaluation says she wasn't insane, just loyal to a dead man's sins. Reed nods grimly. Loyalty's dangerous in the wrong hands.
Below, workers uncover the last of the forgotten chamber. Evidence bags pass hands. The truth finally breathes in daylight. Morag turns to Erin.
I never thanked you. Erin shakes her head. There's no need.
There is. You didn't just find him. You fought for him. For the truth. For all of them. He stands still, face lifted slightly toward the sky, not afraid of it, just studying it like something he's only now learning to trust.
He did the hardest part. He came back. The wind picks up. Granite dust swirls over the railings. The city hums around them. Buses, footsteps, the distant crash of waves on the harbour. Life goes on, but the earth remembers. Erin takes one more look at the cordoned-off entrance below. The tunnels where lives were lost, where guilt festered, where a man in a reflective suit wandered for decades. Then she turns to Morag and Declan. Come on, let's get breakfast, someplace quiet. Morag laughs softly. No shouting, no loud music? Exactly.
Declan gives a tiny nod, as if approving the plan. A simple nod, a living miracle. Together they walk away from the gardens, toward warmth, toward healing, toward the first steps of a new life above ground. The past stays buried. The truth lives on. And Aberdeen watches over them as the morning light breaks through the gray. The end. If you would like the convenience of an app, visit mylisteninglibrary.com.